All right.
Oh, this one. Well, I got this one. If you want to try this one, it's up to you.
Ma'am, would you like the pink one?
I don't care. It's gonna come in and go out the same.
All right. I'm really digging the setup right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope so, dog.
Yeah.
You know, after 2 hours of setting up.
Yeah. It is.
No, this is
Awesome. I am
Rolling?
impressed.
All right. Cool.
but
Mm-hmm.
this is a nice bookstore.
Very nice bookstore.
What'd you guys think?
It's dope. It's homie.
Yeah.
It's homey, right?
It's homie.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool.
So
So
loud.
what's the purpose of this aerator again?
So an aerator aerates your wine. It pumps.
Oh, Stephanie, real quick, can you just like try to
Go
get
closer.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So aerators help to aerate your wine. So it's going to bring in oxygen into the wine. Whenever
Yo, thank you.
You're welcome. I was telling him earlier, you know, if you're at a nice restaurant and they open a bottle of wine, they leave the wine open and they don't pour your glasses, or they shouldn't. And that's because you're aerating the wine. You're trying to get that oxygen back into the wine. And it just helps loosen up some of the tannins that are in wine. And it kind of takes out some of the bitterness that can develop after wine is bottled. So it can make cheap wine taste so much better. And that's mainly why I do it, because I like cheap wine. Or I like the price of cheap wine, but not always the taste.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Try it, dog. Cheers.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
boys and gals.
With Mr. and Mrs. It's good.
I
It's
like
good.
it.
I mean, I feel a lot
It's all right.
classier than
It's all right.
what we usually do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is fun.
Honestly.
Yeah.
That means I have to pace myself, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
not
yeah.
today, dude. Not today. You had your fun last episode. Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of A-Town Talk, the #1 podcast in Anthony, Texas.
The only one.
The only one. That is all I'm going to say for now, and I'm going to let Michael introduce our guest today.
All right, we got a pretty exciting guest today. We have Stephanie Roberts, owner of Cactus Flower Bookery. I always have to look at the title because it's kind of a tongue twister.
It's a couple words, yeah.
Cactus Flower.
Just say you can't
Bookery.
read.
Bookery.
You can't read, bro.
I always want to say Cactus Flowery. Like, no.
But, yeah, bookery really trips people up. That
Yeah.
word really trips people up. But I really like the word. I wanted it instead of bookstore or bookshop. And but it's confused a lot of people. People have come in here and like looked around and been like, "This isn't a fucking bakery. Why you're here?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe you should be here if you can't tell the difference between bookery and bakery. Maybe you should read." But
This is a book.
but I really like the word, and one of my favorite cuss words is fuckery.
Fuckery,
And so
yeah.
it's so similar to it. So
I was going to say it sounds very old English. Like, what is this bookery?
yeah.
Cactus Flower Fuckery. Nah, that's
Yeah.
Cactus Flower Bookery. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
And we came up with the cactus flower because my family is Irish, Irish Scot, and all the women, either their first or middle name is Rose, and it's based off of the wild Irish roses. And so we decided to go with cactus flower to make it a little more American, a little more Southwestern.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from.
That suits it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Nice.
sure. So thank you for hosting us today
you
here
for
at your lovely
coming.
bookstore. It's awesome.
This is so cool.
It
I
is.
mean, you guys, this is a setup. This is amazing.
We've come a long way. We've come a long way. Yeah. And today we're also joined by Raleigh. Shout out Raleigh.
Yo.
And then behind the cameras, being our Jamie, is Sal.
So,
What's up,
yeah, so.
Cool. So, Michael was
Yeah.
the one that introduced us to you. He's been wanting to come here for a while.
Long
well, he's been wanting to do this podcast for a while, and he had told me about it, and I was like, yeah, man, go for it. Ask her if she's down, and you were kind enough to accept, and here we are now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been looking for a Dostoevsky book that I have not been able to get him. So I feel really bad for that. But
No, it's okay. It's okay. But I've been coming in and I'm like, I wanted Dostoevsky. That he's one of my favorite authors like lately, and I'm like, I want like a, you know, anything, literally anything I could find like that's kind of oldie and, you know, vintage.
yeah, he's a hard one to find.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about him and about other authors and other books that we've had is we've probably had 100 different variations of Dostoevsky in vintage form and paperback in different forms, and they've just sat on our shelves forever. And then like 1 week will come in and everybody will be looking for him and they'll fly off our shelves. And that's just how a lot of our books are. We'll just have them forever, or a certain author forever, and then in 1 week they'll all be gone and people will come in looking for them, and you're like, oh.
You're late.
Yeah.
So for the common folk like me and Raleigh, read.
Right.
Who is
Right, of course.
Dostoevsky?
Dostoevsky.
Dostoevsky?
Fyodor Dostoevsky. He's a Russian author,
Okay.
and he had a crazy life, and his like last 5 books are just like masterpieces. Incredible books. You can read literally any one of them and it's like life-changing. They're so good. And yeah, I guess it's like might be a YouTube thing, because that's honestly how I found out about him was
Like a
YouTube.
trend on internet, like TikTok or YouTube, and people start wanting to
Or
look into
a
him?
trend on
Yeah.
Book Talk or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
And that's how I got into him. And I read, you know, he has
I just like to think that like the zeitgeist, like everybody at the same time, like got a chill up their spine.
yeah.
Dostoevsky.
This is the spirit of the old Russian man.
Yeah, I need to read him. now.
Read my books, children.
You're like, do I taste vodka?
That was a good one. That was a good impression.
It's the wine.
It's the one.
Gets the Russian out of me.
That's funny. But so Stephanie, I kind of just wanted to get your, you know, from the very beginning, how did all of this start? In your own words?
So it really happened weirdly slowly and very quickly at the same time. And I spent my childhood in a small town called Durango, Colorado, which we were talking about earlier. And I still have family up there, and my mom grew up there, and we were there on a small family vacation. We were on a trip on the $1 Million Highway. Have you guys ever been out there?
No.
It goes from Durango to Cortez to Ouray to Silverton, all these like old mining towns, and it's one of the most beautiful drives in the whole country.
Okay.
And it's called the $1 Million Highway because it cost a whole $1 million back when it was made, and which was very, very impressive back then. And so we were on this trip, and we ended it in Durango. And the very last place we went to was this gorgeous bookstore called Maria's Bookstore. And it's not a huge place either, but it has really good selections, and it has a lot of like bookish stuff. And we left that bookstore and got into the car to drive back to El Paso. It's about a 7-hour drive. And I had, you know, was inspired by being in there. And I was on this road trip with my mother and my grandmother. It was just us 3. And I just said, oh man, someday I'm going to own a bookstore. That I am going to own a bookstore. And my mom was like, oh man, I've always wanted to. That's always been a dream of mine. And then my grandma on the back was like, what about a bookstore? Let's do it. Like, you know. And so I always think of it as such a serendipitous moment, because if that is something that we had done and then gone to lunch, that would have been the last of it. But because we were on a road trip for 7 more hours, it was a continued conversation. It didn't die because the waiter showed up to the table. You know, we continued it. And by the time we got back to El Paso, it was like, all right, so we're doing this, huh? Like, we're going to do this. And so we decided that we were going to try it out. And we didn't know if we were going to do brick and mortar or online or a mobile bookstore. We were really kind of playing around with it. And I had said, you know, if I could ever have a place, I would want it in the Placida Santa Fe, which is this area.
Yeah.
And I was like, that place just it has a vibe, and it would be
really
so
cool.
good with
Yeah.
a bookstore in it.
Yeah.
And we had, because I had brought it up, we had come here to the plaza and played tourists and was shopping around. And we were at the boutique next to Tippy Tea's called Dos Femmes. And somehow I must have said something, or my mom said something about, you know, wanting a store here. And the owner heard me, and she turned around and she was like, oh, I hear there's about to be a spot open. You guys should jump on it. And I was like, whoa, you're moving too fast, lady. Whoa. And she was like, seriously, the owner is this guy. I can get you the information. These things go really fast. So like jump on this and get it. She was like, a bookstore would be so cool here. Do it.
Yeah.
So again, I was like, whoa, we're moving too fast. I can't do this too much. And went home, had a couple drinks, relaxed, and woke up in the morning thinking, holy shit, the universe, God, whatever you want to think, like literally just handed me my dream. Everything that I had said, just handed it to me. And I was too scared to touch it. Like I immediately like dropped it. And I was like, you're being a coward. And so that morning I got dressed and I came down here and I met with the owner of the Placida. And he told me there was a line, that there's always a line waiting for businesses to get in here. And I sat down and I told him why I should be at the front of the line. And I had
That's what's up.
I didn't know I was going to have to make a speech. I didn't know I was going to have to fight for this. I didn't even have a license yet. I didn't have anything. It was just like, it's fucking now or never.
I have like one book.
Yeah. I'm like, I got a tote in my car full of books. Let's do this. And so I just right out of my ass, just said whatever I had to say, that we needed more retail in this area. We needed a bookstore. I thought it would be a really great idea. And it would bring something in. It was different from everything else that was here. And it should be. And somehow he said yes.
Wow.
Somehow we moved to
He's
the
like, all
front.
right, get out of here.
Yeah.
You got it.
I think so.
It's like,
Absolutely.
lady, it's 8 in the morning. Right? Just woke up.
She still has her wine.
Yeah. I'm a bloodshot.
And how long ago was that?
That was about a little over 5 years ago.
Oh,
Wow.
And somehow got it, and was like, the person was going to be out in a month or two. I can't remember. So it was like, oh my God, I have that amount of time to get all of the books, all of the display units, the licensing, everything I needed to get done. And so it was kind of a whirlwind after that. But we got this store and we opened in 2 weeks. I had everything set up in 2
Wow.
weeks with everything, because
dang.
it was one of those, like, I don't have fucking time to waste. Like we are here, and I can't miss this opportunity that was weirdly given to me. Weirdly, I mean, everything was my work, but it really does feel like, because again, that serendipitous moment in the car, and then just happening to say it out loud to a business owner here, and her just knowing that there was about to be a spot open in a couple months. I mean, it all really came together, and was definitely something I had to grab, and somehow we have survived for going on almost 6 years in a couple months, and we survived the pandemic
Yeah.
by the skin of our teeth.
What was that
Really?
like? Because, I mean, a lot of businesses didn't make it out of, small businesses didn't make it out of the pandemic, right? What was that like for you guys?
It it like when it's one of those things that when you look back on it, it almost feels like a blur. Like how I mean, first of all of us, right, we're at home doing nothing, drinking, and so it's probably a blur for a lot of people, but in a different way. But when we were forced to close, we were really nervous. We had only been open for a little over a year. We had a small, nowhere near this amount of stock, but we did have stock, and people were already closing within the first month or two. I mean, people were so, they didn't have any savings. They didn't, nobody expects this to happen. Yeah. And so most businesses can be okay for a month or two, but most of us are just scraping by,
Yeah.
And so if you kick the legs from underneath us, we can't get back up. So one of the big things that helped, again, we're a family business, and it's me and my mom. We're co-partners in it. And even though my grandma was like really gung ho about it, she does like she gathers a lot of books in the background and stuff.
Cool.
When it happened, everybody was trying to get masks, right? We're clamoring for them, which is weird to think back in the pandemic. It wasn't that far away ago, but it
so
feels
crazy.
like it was just like something we can already tell our non-existent children, like, well, kids.
Yeah, even you mentioning like 5 years, like really? It was 4. Wow.
Remember,
that's insane.
people were like
That's crazy.
punching each other in the face for toilet paper.
That was me. That was me. I wanted my toilet paper.
I mean, it was wild. So there was this really big shortage of masks. And my grandmother, God bless her, she's not with us anymore, but she was a seamstress. And she decided to make us all masks because, they gave out those patterns where you can make masks yourself. And so she made us all masks. And it was like, man, these are really good. And I was like, can you make some for our friends and stuff? And then it was like, well, there's such a shortage. We should put them out to our customers, see if anybody needs them. And we ended up making like 700 masks. And that's what floated us as we started selling handmade masks. And we set my grandma up like a damn sweatshop. We got her at the table. My other grandma came. They brought their sewing machines.
Just keep feeding her coffee. Here you go.
We found every scrap of cloth we could find. And we made masks and we sold them. And we sold them, I think, at like $10 a pop or something. And that is how we survived, which, again, feels very much like a story you tell your grandkids. Like, well, the way I survived.
Yeah. We had to sell masks to make it through the pandemic.
Dude, it's crazy. Since I worked in the medical field at the clinic, would have patients come in like trying to sell us like homemade masks and everything too.
No way. And you guys bought them?
No, not really. Well, because we had our own too,
Yeah.
But even if like I was in charge of ordering our like medical supplies and stuff, it was so hard getting masks, dude.
No way.
When I would have the opportunity to like order as many as I can, like I jumped on it. But like normally a pack like the regular face masks were like $10 for like a box of 100. Like it went up to like $20-$30 for that box of 100. The price is just like, and even worse just because it was a medical field,
Right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I was
Ridiculous.
working at Under Armour at the time, and Under Armour came out with their own mask, and that was top seller. That was like for throughout the pandemic era, like
Those are the cool ones. They have like the sun
yeah.
logo.
The masks were,
Super cool kid.
they were top sellers. Yeah, it was crazy. People would go crazy for them.
Wow.
And
How crazy, huh?
then pandemic ended, and I don't know. They just
I wonder where all those
But, dude,
all that stuff went.
Some people still wear masks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some.
Yeah. I try not to judge.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say that. Like, I'm not gonna say too much,
And
but
it's just not
Try
here
not to
either.
judge.
Like I saw several people in New York when we were there a couple weeks ago. Like,
oh yeah.
on the subways, just like
Well,
everywhere.
I kind of understand that though,
Yeah,
because
it's crowded.
Yeah, the subway especially,
Yeah, for sure.
You're always touching the poles and shit. Like when you think about it, it's like this is kind of gross. But I try not to think about
You see it a lot in Asian countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They started years ago though.
And that's what I always try to think when I see them, when I see people with masks. I always just try to give them that, like, you know what, maybe they're sick and they're doing this to protect us. Like maybe they
Yeah, that too.
you know, or they are immunocompromised and this is just how they live their life and they're not choosing to do that for fun because they're just uncomfortable.
And then you're just breathing into your own face all day.
It was worse, and especially
I don't
having
know.
a beard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. But yeah, that's what we did to survive. And then it was really touch and go because everything was 1 minute you were allowed to be open and the next minute you weren't.
Yeah, that was weird, huh?
It was just so hard. And then for like a good 2 years, man, like people, they would like pop their head in and be like, can we come in? And we're like, yeah. Or they'd like ask questions about, if they had to wear masks and they were uncomfortable. And I feel like just for businesses, it just took forever for customers to know if they could come in, if they were allowed to be there, if they had to leave immediately, I felt that way as a consumer a lot. And then for businesses to just not know if they were going to be able to be open the next week. And when we opened, we really had this great, shockingly, I wasn't expecting such a great projection upwards of we were just having a ton of events, and we were having author signings, and we have creative writing classes, and we had all this stuff going on, and we were really building. We were getting our stock really good, and I was going out and I was book hunting constantly, and it was so much fun. And then it was just hitting a wall, and so that was something, a blur, and it felt like I had to open a store twice from scratch, because once everything got kind of more evened out and people were coming out more and stuff, it was like starting over again. We had to rebook people. We had to kind of hope people would come out for author signings, because we weren't as known. You had to everything. You had to start back over. You had to get your name back out there and tell people you survived, because that was another thing. People would come in and be like, "Oh my God, you survived! How did you do that?" I'm like, "Well, let's not be too shocked, buddy."
It's like grandma saved us with the masks.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Did you require your customers to walk in with the mask on, or you were kind of whatever about it?
At first, most people really did it on their own, and then after a while, it was kind of use at your own, your
own discretion.
Yeah, your own discretion. And I would put a mask on for the most part when people came in, and then after a while, I'm back there in my own little space, so it was kind of pointless too.
Yeah.
But I was trying to be respectful about everything, and my philosophy was, if you go into a business and they ask you to do it, you do it, and if they don't really have policy, then it's up to you. And so that's kind of what we had here, and we made it. I don't know how we made it.
That was a weird time, because there was no definitive end. Okay, COVID's over. It was just kind of teetered off, and then it was I don't feel like wearing this no more.
Yeah. And then there would be a resurgence or something. And then everybody around you was kind of doing the you gonna wear that?
I'll do it if you do it.
Yeah.
That's such a crazy time. But so you said you still have events, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any up and coming events you kind of want to?
So we have authors on the book, but I would have to look. So we do have a couple author signings or meet and greets, kind of however you want to put them. We have our Read Between the Wines book club, which we have every month here. We have something called the Thursday Murder Club that we have here.
You sacrifice someone here every Thursday?
Who's murdered today?
We go all Poe style. Actually, the book for it is here. This was not planned. It's just in reach. So we based it off of this book by Richard Olson, which is or Osman, called The Thursday Murder Club.
Cool.
And it's about a bunch of retired people who live in a senior community, and they decide that they're all somehow law enforcement adjacent or retired law enforcement, and they decide they're going to start solving cases in their little hometown. And so they try to use a meeting room And the senior citizen complex was like, well, you can't unless you're a club. And so they were like, all right, well, fuck you. We're the Thursday Murder Club. And they were like, that's also inappropriate. So then they had to call themselves like the Thursday Knitting Committee or whatever. But they were solving these crimes. So in our version of the Thursday Murder Club, we all get together with wine and food and we solve case file games. Have you guys ever seen those?
Mm-mm.
Like Clue?
So I can show them later. They're literal case files. So you get them and you open it up and it has all sorts of toxicology reports, evidence, DNA reports. It has pictures of suspects. But it's just like if a detective had given you their case file on a case. Oh. And you have to solve the case file. You have to solve who did it.
That's pretty
and
dope.
so we
That's so
get
cool.
Yeah, we get like very like Pepe Sylvia about it. We have like a big whiteboard and we're like Pepe Sylvia, but like we have like everything together. We
It
get,
was
like,
him.
Super, yeah. We get super into it. And so
so cool.
that's been a lot of fun. And that's not book related at all. It's just
Yeah,
fun.
that's just
Yeah, no,
fun.
that's-
I was
that's
like,
pretty
where's
dope.
the book part coming in? Like, nope.
Nope. We had originally we were going to kind of pick out like a true crime book before and kind of give a little summary about it to tie it in with books. And I talked too much for that. So we had to cut that out and
Let's just
just
skip
play
that
the
part.
game. So I got that cut. So now we just play that game and we have things in the work that we're, focus grouping other little clubs, other little events. We want to be part of the community. We want to bring together bookish people. We want to bring together just people with similar interests and do it in a way where El Paso has a problem with getting events together or people together that aren't bar associated.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love going to a bar. But there's sometimes where you want to do something social that isn't bar centered. That doesn't mean it's not drinking centered.
Right.
I mean, clearly.
Is
our
the farmers
book club
market
is-
here in front of Hobby Lobby something you'd consider doing?
We've vended there before.
Okay.
We've had a booth there before to sell and to promote ourselves, but it sucks. It really to be a vendor there. It's because it's so hot.
Yeah.
Just on that like black tar.
Shout out Sal.
Shout out Sal. There you go, Sal.
Yeah.
He's
out there.
He knows. He's like, nah.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah.
It's just hot. And it always is on the Sunday that you drank way too much on that Saturday. It's just, it just never was fun for me. But it's a really good, thing to do. It's such a large part of this community. And it's great for us because we're so close to it.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of people that will come here because they go there and they'll think, okay, what else is around here? Or we have a lot of people that will come here from Las Cruces, from Horizon, and they come specifically just to the bookstore, which is such a fucking compliment.
Wow.
It's such a nice thing when people say that. Just it makes my heart so happy. And I always tell them, like, well, make a fucking day out of it, man. Like, go there. We have this great market over there, and you should check it out and make the most of your trip out here. And it also gives you pretty bad imposter syndrome when people make a trip like that just to see the store, because then you're like, why?
That's how I feel when people watch us every Monday.
For real.
Every Monday, like, why are they watching this?
Yeah, like,
You put all this effort into doing it, and then they do it, and you're like, that's just weird, man. Like,
you like this? Why?
Don't you have a job to do?
says a lot about you, man. I don't know.
Dude, I feel like I work in Cruces, and I feel like a lot of people from Cruces don't like coming to El Paso.
Yeah, and a lot of people from El Paso don't go to cruises.
Yeah, which is weird because it's
And
right there.
If they do,
so
it's just too
weird.
Messia.
It's so
That's
weird.
it.
Yeah,
Go into
Messia.
La Posta, or that's about it.
Yeah, because it's nice.
Which La Posa is a great vibe. Not the best food, but the great vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said not the best food. Just kidding.
Anyone like the owner behind me? When I say it, yeah. But I mean, because I went to NMSU. My grandmother lives in Las Cruces. I go there all the time. Las Cruces has a phenomenal bookstore called Coaz Books. Have you guys ever been there?
Mm-mm.
It's huge.
That one on the downtown strip?
Yeah,
I've
and
seen
it's
it,
like
but I've never
2 or
been in.
3 buildings long. It's huge.
What's it called?
Coaz, Coas, Coaz, and it's super cool. It's like I said, it's room after room, and they have great older books. They have just there's I mean it's what I dream we can be. Like their genre sections are just like entire rooms big.
Hey,
It's
but they're
really
not
cool.
hosting podcasts.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
so
they don't have a
true.
cool
Yeah.
name like Cactus
Yeah.
Flowery. Like, come on,
and I
guys.
bet they're really bad at fighting. So
let's go right now.
There you go.
So,
but they have a program which I would love to figure out how to do here, but I just haven't been able to, where you can turn in books and you get points to purchase other books for. And I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard they're one of the biggest contributors to Amazon Books in the country.
Oh,
Coas. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard. And it's a really cool place. I think everybody should check it out. And it is nice that there is such a large new and used bookstore in Las Cruces, and people still come down to El Paso to come check us out.
yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. And we're like a 13th of the size. It's almost like,
Like, this is it.
yeah.
So when we got here earlier, I saw somebody left some books in your doorstep.
Uh-huh.
Was that just like somebody dropped them off?
Yeah,
or-
they're dropping off donations. Yeah, we take donations. And it's always, it wasn't something we started off telling people about or collecting. I mean, we asked our friends and family when we started, like, if you have any books, bring them by. But we've had a lot of really generous donations. We've had people donate family heirloom books. We've had people donate just, kids' books they've grown out of. But it's been such a nice thing that people think of us, because you can, donate your books anywhere. So to bring them here is, I think, really special. And we take all of the donated books. If we can't put them on the floor for whatever reason, say they're just not up to snuff for whatever reason, we further donate them either to the library or to the literacy center.
Okay.
And so they get donated either way. So we're kind of a stopping point for that too. And so that way we all kind of benefit from it. And then your books, because people, you put so much of your heart and soul into books, which is weird if you're not a book person. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
What are they talking about, Rowan?
Like,
What's a book?
why would you have emotions in a book? But I think it says a lot that people trust us with that. And so I really like that.
That
That's
is
awesome.
cool. So real quick, Johnny, my bad. So if anyone wanted to donate, that's what you do? You just drop it on your doorstep?
Yeah, if we're open, you can bring them on in, and we can help you bring them in if you have a lot, or drop them off and tell people, because I don't ever want people to have to go out of their way. So just drop them off on the table, and they shouldn't be messed with. I mean, some homeless person might steal them, but then they might really need a book. So
You might be like, oh, Stephen King. Yeah. It's good.
This is gonna be great toilet paper.
So if someone wanted to join this club, for example, or the book club, how would they do that?
you just show up to it. You follow us on social media, and we put reminders out there. We let you know what our theme is every month or when something's happening. And you just come in. I try to make everything really loose and non-committal. And I try to, because a lot of times if you start putting parameters on people in your group, they start getting really like itchy. So I just make it so just show up, and we kind of go from there. So, which makes it a little difficult, I'm not gonna lie, as the owner, because we can get anywhere from like 4 people to like 15, and in a small space when you're like, oh fuck, bring out the next table, get another table. Like, you have to do that. But I think that's kind of what makes it work is that we don't charge for it. We don't make you sign anything. You just
Show up.
come as you are.
That's
yeah.
Cool. So you said that this month's topic, I guess, right? You don't do like books, you do topics or
Yeah.
genres or
We do themes, and that's another thing where we're trying to be like a little more. I went to school, went to college. I have ADHD. I don't want somebody telling me what to fucking read. Even in a book club that I'm choosing to be in.
I don't want to read that. Me.
No. Ew. Like, even if it's a book I want to read, I'm like, God, get this shit out of my face. So, and I think, again, if you haven't been able to tell so far, I have ADHD. I know it's shocking. It's shocking. But when you do try to force me to read something, or anybody that's neurodivergent, they tend not to. And so I had decided if I wanted to be in a book club, I would want it to have some kind of loose parameter. And that's when we came up with doing a theme. And it still can push you out of your reading bubble, because it might be a theme that because you get to pick whatever book you want in that theme, right? So it could be fiction, nonfiction, it could be fucking poetry, I don't care. As long as it's somewhat malleable, like within the theme. And, oh my God, where was I going with that thought? Look, I like brought up my ADHD and it like activated. It was like, we're on.
So as long as it's within the theme of the month, then you can pick whatever.
Then you
book
can do whatever you want.
want.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so last month's theme was crime. And that could mean anything from true crime to Agatha Christie type novels to whatever you want it to be. And most everyone came in with true crime. And so our topic got real heavy.
That's a big thing. I've noticed, like, and I don't know, I don't want to generalize, but I think within females, that's like a big thing. Like, they like to watch true crime stuff. They like to listen to podcasts about true crime. Even TV shows like the Jeffrey Dahmer one, was it called? Dahmer?
Yeah.
That was like a big hit. Like, people are kind of obsessed with murder and
serial
It's
killer
like allowed us
documentaries
our
and
dark
stuff.
sides to come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, or like specifically women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've done studies on it. They're trying to figure this out because it is a fairly new phenomenon. And they're
Guys are like, guys, we gotta get this shit.
start murdering them right now.
they're learning.
Figure it out.
They're learning. We can't have this. And I think there was like always hints of it, right? Like what were those? Like those Lifetime true crime things that like back in our mom's days that they would watch and stuff. And now I mean, we have a pin here that even says I fall asleep to Forensic Files. I mean, people just love it. And I'm one of those. I love true crime. I love anything crime related. And I don't, and it is weird, right? Because I can listen to really gruesome true crime things that happen to an actual person. It was fucking horrible.
It's just the white noise while you're going.
Yeah.
Blood slashing.
Yeah. Like, hearing somebody spray luminol just makes my, like, it's great. But I don't like horror movies. I don't like scary movies, and I hear that a lot from women that really like.
I've
true
heard
crime.
that too. Yeah. It's
They
like
don't.
it's fake.
Yeah.
and real murder is real.
That's true.
That's terrifying.
But we can learn from it. And with horror movies, I always say to get out of them. I always say I don't need to pay for anxiety. I have it. I'm good. Like, I don't understand why you would pay for it. And and with true crime studies, the things that they've been coming out with are really interesting about how women are literally using it to learn. And
Like, so you think it's like more like instinctual,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And because, most true crime are going to be like the big true crime is psychopaths and sociopaths and stuff. And it helps us like
Detect them.
detect.
Like that show, You. Is it You? The guy on the one on
Oh,
Netflix?
yeah.
Not me.
Not you.
They're like, sir, how dare you?
Me or you? You?
Austin Powers, fuck me.
Never seen it. Just kidding.
Well,
I've never seen you.
It's a good show.
Okay.
It's a good show. Yeah.
So what is that?
It's basically this guy who's like a killer also. He's like, and then he obsesses like over women. And I think every season he ends up murdering the
He's
girl.
like a stalker?
Yeah, he's kind of like a stalker. And then he ends up murdering her. And then the next season he falls in love with another girl. And then he's like
see,
seduced.
buyer beware.
Yeah.
That's why we watch this stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So there's, I don't know. I'm interested in true crime. I've gone into my little mode where I'll just watch a lot of true crime, but then eventually it gets to the point where I'm like, I can't, you know?
Yeah.
It's just
it
like
can
it's
get real
infected
dark.
me. Yeah.
It can get real dark.
Yeah.
We one of the things on our social media that we've done that seems to resonate with people, I haven't done it in a while, is I have showcased 2 big murder crimes that have happened in the area and books that were written about them. And I've had other people reach out to me to do interviews on those. And I am by no means an expert. I like read the book, but those have gotten a lot of engagement, and those are true crime stories. And they were the Frome case that happened here in El Paso, and then
Mm-hmm.
the Cricket Kugler case.
Cricket Kugler?
Kugler, and she was murdered in Las Cruces, and it exposed, it's the craziest fucking story, it exposed how much the entire state of New Mexico was fully corrupt, and it ended up having, do you guys want to know a little bit about
Yeah. I'm interested.
People
New Mexico.
True crimey.
Yeah, well, it's because we have a little inside joke where we shit on New Mexico a lot. So
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah.
The land of entrapment. Yeah. Again, my brother's a Texas cop, so we have a lot of New Mexico.
Nice.
I like him already.
Cricket Kugler, man, if I had notes on this, Cricket Kugler was killed, I want to say in the 50s. And she was known as kind of a party girl. She was only like 19 or 20 when she was murdered. But she was already hooking up with a lot of well-known politicians in Las Cruces and the state of New Mexico. She was basically last seen with a professional football player from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ben Roethlisberger?
That's the only one I know.
That's, yeah.
His granddaddy.
Okay.
Goes through generations. And which is one of those things when you're reading it, you're like, a fucking Pittsburgh Steelers involved in this? Like, what?
So fucking random.
Yes. His name was something Newman. And so he was like the last one. And he had like was trying to kidnap her. And somebody was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he was like, I'm pretending to kidnap her." Like that. Yeah, like
What?
how is that what comes to your mind first?
Wow.
Like, I'm pretending.
She's into it.
Yeah. Like,
Her screaming, she's into it.
even that makes more sense than I'm pretending. Like,
That's like the equivalent of it's a prank, bro. It's a
Yeah.
prank, bro. Yeah.
we're going over a sketch. It's for class.
Yeah.
And then she was seen later getting into a vehicle, and then she was found, like a month later, she was found murdered, but her family was really pressing the sheriff at the time and the police department to find her because she was a missing person. And they were like, she's just a party girl. She's a whore. Who cares? And she's probably in Santa Fe with some politician. It doesn't matter. And they were saying like, there's just no way, this isn't like her. And she was found later. And the person who was suppressing finding her was a man named Happy Apodaca. Have you guys ever heard of Happy Apodaca?
No.
Damn, I feel like that's where Apodaca Park comes from.
So probably they are a really well-known family to the point where I had people like, you were really brave talking about that book with the Apodacas. And I was like, that was like 50 years ago.
They're still around.
Yeah, I don't think he's...
Oh shit, they're gonna watch this podcast.
Yeah.
Damn it. All right, I gotta go, guys.
I put us all in danger. So he tried to suppress. He was like, yeah, we're totally looking for her. We even got the Boy Scouts involved, which is only something you could do in the 50s where you're like, let's go find a dead body, boys.
You'll get a glass. You'll get this badge.
Yeah.
You get this badge. You find a dead body.
Your decomp badge.
Oh shit.
and he had him looking in an area that, of course, they would never find her and all this stuff. And they ended up finding her. And it was just like a bunch of fuckery after that. They, the little forensics that they were able to do back then, they like purposely fucked that up. And then they immediately blamed it on a black man. Fucking immediately. You know how we do it. And I can't remember this man's name, but he was from El Paso. And he was in Las Cruces because he was fleeing from the law because he married a, quote, white woman. And that was illegal in El Paso in like the 50s. You were not allowed to marry interracially.
Shit.
And by white woman, I don't think she was white. I think she was Hispanic. And but that is also an interracial marriage. You weren't allowed to do that. So he was running from the law, and they caught him, and they Happy Apodaca himself caught him, and then proceeded to torture him.
Damn.
They beat the fuck out of him. They then made him walk around the area where they found her. And they found her in like, in the desert, in like sagebrush, like sand desert, real bad desert. Like, I don't know what that part desert was called, you know, but like the kind where you don't want to be shoeless.
Yeah.
And they made him walk around shoeless and naked and with a, deadbolt wrapped around his genitalia. And he never once confessed. And they tried to throw him in, or they arrested him. They did not tell him why he was being arrested. And then they held him for like a month, something wild, without ever charging him. And that is very much so against your civil rights. Mm-hmm. So is putting a lock around your dick, but you know,
ouch.
That's harder to write in a suit, you know?
Yeah. It's a big lock.
Yeah. Oh. I feel like, should we all drink? Yeah,
holy shit. We'll drink too. Damn.
And
goddamn.
See, you guys, you have to keep me off these topics.
Keep going. Let's keep it going.
I've never heard of that.
Who needs more wine?
Yeah. Par me up. Well,
do you want to aerate it?
That
do you
makes it
try
so
it on
much
your
better.
own?
I need to try that other one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just
What?
mixed it. Is it
Let's
bad to
open
mix
up.
them?
Dude, you don't do that. That's not classy, bro.
Okay, in your defense, pink wine is a mix of white wine and red wine.
There
So
you
if you're
go.
mixing it, you're just
It's just redder.
you're just making it redder.
Straight. Sal, do you want some wine, Sal? You good? Okay. Poor Sal's over there in the shadows. Just
Shaking his head at everything I'm saying.
He's all googling it. Wrong.
So it's like, I feel like this laptop is to fact check me in real time. So the family of Cricket Kugler was really, stressing about trying to find her murderer. And NMSU, which was at the time called like something Western. It wasn't called New Mexico State University. It was called something else. But they did a mass protest of 400 students protesting against the corruption of Happy Apodaca, of the sheriff, and demanding answers for Cricket. And I'm sure it's not really told, but I'm sure part of the protest was about the treatment of the man. And I'm so sorry, I can't remember the black man's name who was senselessly tortured.
Sorry, stupid question. Cricket was her name, or that was just like a nickname that they gave her?
Her name. Oh my God! Look, here's the book right here. I
Pour me a note. We need. Where's the open one?
It's right here.
You can pass me that one.
This one? There you go.
Fuck it.
Open that up.
Oh.
Hey, dude. Expensive glasses.
Bing, bing. Expensive.
This one has like a timeline. This is a really cool book, actually.
What's the name of that book?
This is called Ovida is her first name. It's
Ovida.
called Cricket in the Web by Paula Moore. And her it was in 1949.
Okay. So if anybody's interested in the story, which I'm totally invested right now,
It is fucking wild, man.
maybe I am into true crime, huh?
Can you just
Luther
like
Mosley.
record yourself reading the book and then I'll read it?
Those are called
Listen to it?
audiobooks.
Yeah.
Audio.
Those are called
You wanna
kill this
audiobooks.
shit?
You know what? It's because Raleigh never learned how to read.
You want
so.
You want
I
this?
struggle, dude.
Reading's hard.
I don't
want-
care.
And I'm dyslexic, so it's between
Reading's
that.
hard.
Yeah.
But that's literally what audiobooks are for. I am a huge audiobook person.
Really?
And, yeah. And anybody who's like, audiobooks aren't reading.
I hate audiobooks.
People will take the side of fucking anything, won't they? Like they like it's so weird to me when they're so hell-bent on something. But we know that it lights up the same part of your brain that reading does. Listening to a book lights up the same part of your brain. And the big joke about audiobook people is like, well, it does the same thing and we know how to pronounce things correctly. So
Right.
we don't know how to spell though.
What happens with me though? I've done audiobooks before and they're cool, especially with books that I've read already.
Yeah.
That's like when it's because it's just like a different take,
Yeah.
you kind of interpret it differently. But sometimes, I'll listen to it when I'm driving or whatever, and I'm concentrating on driving, and I'm like, oh shit, what did he say? And I have to like rewind it, and then okay.
I listen to them all the time. I love them. And do you guys know what smut is?
I have an idea.
Smut?
I have an idea.
So
Teach.
it is the most popular genre of books, and it is
Shut up.
essential. It's the most popular
Here.
Anywhere. It is insane.
You guys know what it is?
I know.
Crazy.
Okay.
I didn't think that was going to be a genre.
It is erotica, essentially. It is rom-coms with hardcore sex scenes in them.
Oh.
Or fantasies with hardcore sex scenes, but it's hardcore sex scenes.
So it's like softcore, but in a book.
Oh, it is not.
It's not
softcore.
soft.
I mean, you can have. There's variations of smut where it is really intense, and some that is not as intense. There's a whole subgenre called dark romance, which is real fucked up smut.
Really?
Yeah.
Like chains and shit or what?
Yeah, like BDSM, and where a main character is like a villain or a dark person or somebody who you would never date in real life, but is very toxic.
And you're like reading, you're like, yeah, get her.
Yeah. The whole like, have you ever seen anything? We have it all over the store of like Good Girl, like being called Good Girl, like that comes from smut. That comes from books.
Is it like 50 Shades type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worse?
I wouldn't say necessary. Well, it depends. It really depends. But it's the most popular genre. It's what's really taken off, like with book talk and everything. It really revived it. And romance. So there's always been smut. They just used to call it romance books. But if you ever like went to your Meemaw's house and saw her romance book, which is always like Fabio on the cover, and he's always holding some girl up with like, and her boobs are busting out. Those are romance books, right? They're Harlequin novels.
And grandma's like all sweating.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
I can feel
Fucking,
again.
Holy shit!
That must be a good book, Grandma.
Yeah, shit reminds me of like Phyllis in The Office when she's like reading some erotica book.
Yes. Like having to
Dwight's
spray
just like
herself out. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I had, when I think I was like 13, my aunt, my very pious, there's a lot more words for her that I won't say, aunt, Mormon, who gave me a book, and she gave it to me because she was like, there was a lady with a horse, like it was like a medieval kind of looking book. She was like, whatever, just here's a present. It was for my birthday. It was smut. And I was like 13 reading this and being like, that's what they do? Like, oh my God.
With the horse? What?
Did you ever confront her about it?
It wasn't until it was much later because I didn't want the book taken away.
By the way, Auntie.
Yeah. Oh, we all the time now. We bring it up all the time now.
That's right. She's like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But what's funny is with audiobooks, you can, you're in the car and you're listening to this intense sex scene and you don't know always that the scene is coming, just like a movie. You don't always you can't plan it. So, it's one thing if you're on your run and it happens and you can kind of run it off. But if you're in your car, in traffic, and you kind of always do that. You make sure your windows are rolled totally up. You turn it down a little so nobody can hear
There's
it.
a homeless guy walking by.
Yeah.
He's all like, fuck yeah. My turn.
How big was it?
Dang.
But it's brought so many more readers.
Dang.
You know what?
It's really brought the people together
I love books.
in a divisive time.
What? Damn.
I love books so much now.
So yeah, if you're ever at the gym, you see a girl all of a sudden working out a little harder. She's listening to Smut.
She's on that doing that fucking the abductor
Yeah,
machine.
All of a sudden it starts going wild. Yeah.
Start speeding up. Like 200 pounds. Just wrapping this shit.
Picks up her pace when she's running. Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
But
hilarious.
I mean, like I said, it's one of probably the most popular or one of the most popular, and there's now subgenres of smut. There's rom-coms, which is romantic comedies. There's the old-fashioned Harlequin. There's dark romance. There's romantasy, which is romance and fantasy. That shit can get real weird.
Like fairies and shit.
Yeah.
I have a friend that reads that shit.
Yeah,
It's just like,
the most popular book really right now is called A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Oh,
I think I've seen people post that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what that is?
It's fairy smut.
Oh.
And it's like 4 or 5 books, and I've read them all. And
Multiple times.
for work.
all in a day.
For
all in a
work.
day.
Like, get these. They're good.
You want to feel something? Read.
Those are the posters I saw
wanna come
outside the door.
Yeah, that whole series is one of the most popular series, and it really has championed the revival of reading. Is this fairy smut book?
Wow, because I've seen it, you know, and I'm always kind of on trying to keep on top of what's popular right now, right?
You would.
I don't really read modern or contemporary, authors.
Dostoevsky, yeah, we know.
So but I kind of want to see what's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I see these, and then I'm like, maybe I should just pick one up,
You should.
now that I know.
He'll never put it down.
A whole new world.
The audiobook turn up blast.
We'll be like, Michael, we haven't seen you in a week. Where you at, man?
He's walking out like Quagmire.
Oh man.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, so it's really, really propelled the revival of reading. And so you have to, it's weird that, it is weird that porn basically is what got everyone to read again. But it is this interesting revival because there, like I said, there's always been romance novels, these Harlequin. But a lot of Harlequin novels are based in historical fiction, and it's always about a damsel in distress, some variation of a damsel in distress needing to be saved by a man with nice muscles and flowing hair and a mighty steed. And it's all kind of very similar, but the trope of it almost always was a damsel in distress. And now we have all of these romance novels that have different tropes, and all of them they're modern romances, right? And so they're fucking sword wielding women who are fighting dragons and like fucking hard when they get home, you know, like they're no longer damsels in distress, because that's not where our society is with women anymore. And so they're the main characters of these different genres. There's different tropes. There's friends or enemies to lovers. That's a big one. There's grumpy versus sunshine. There's age gap. There's
those are all porn categories, by the way.
Yes.
How do you know?
Yes.
I did research before coming here. Yeah.
It's for work.
Yeah.
It's for work.
For work. There's slow burn. There's oh God, what are some of the other ones? And then and that's just in like rom-coms. And then there's romanticities, and those are anywhere from like fairy smut to like tentacle stuff.
Damn, some deep sea shit.
Straight up Kraken stuff. We had a book here about the Kraken.
Deep sea fishing, Johnny.
Kraken?
That ship flies off our shelves.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a section just for that?
Where is it at?
Yeah, so right behind us, actually, right here. Look, so that one is about werewolves.
This one?
Yeah. No, the
Such sharp teeth.
That one.
Oops, sorry. I'll pick it up.
Dang it.
What is this about?
That one is a werewolf one. So.
Well, you think about Twilight.
I love how
was
it just says, "A werewolf novel."
It's
It's
What's
a
that?
werewolf
What movie?
novel.
The Teenage Werewolf? Triple X?
That one, right? You're talking about fucking Twilight?
No, dude.
No, but I'm saying like Twilight is kind of like a variation of that, right? Didn't Twilight start off as a novel series?
Yeah, absolutely. And you could consider that. So that is considered romantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Not all romance will have smut in it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are boring.
We want the smut.
Yeah. Nerd alert.
You're reading just to read?
Yeah, boring. But and that brings, oh my God, you guys have to keep me on topic. I'm not on topic at all. But that brings to why people are part of the whole book banning thing, is because you don't know what you're picking up until you research it or you kind of flip through it to know if this is going to be smut or not. Or if you're a person, or even if you're a grown adult and you're just not really into the sex, because they get weird, dude. Like they get like sometimes you don't need to read it, and so sometimes you kind of don't always know unless you research it. You get on Goodreads or something like that and find out what the spicy level is. So now they have like a spicy level, 1 to 5 chili peppers.
What's fucking a dead body? What pepper is that? Is that 5 or?
So like that's 5 and then like a skull at the end of it.
It's a chili in the skull.
Chili fucking skull.
And then a little mirror so you can see what you're doing yourself.
Crossbones behind it. That's me.
Yeah. Oh God.
I can't. Oh shit, that's funny.
But so it's interesting, and you have to pick it up someday and read it, and just especially a quart, a quart of thorns and roses, also known as Actar, if you've heard of that, if you've been on Book Talk or anything, that has such a huge fan base. It's insane what that fan base is. If you look at it, if you like start typing that in, and if you're on like Instagram or TikTok, the things that will come out of it.
People that I know, I've seen them post those books, and I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I know what you guys
I'm
sick
just like,
fucks are into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and I always ask them what book they're on, because the books get smuttier and smuttier as they go.
so there's 5, you said?
There's like 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like depending on the level of smut,
the last one is like, woohoo.
It's like you're on book 5. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I know,
Like,
I know.
Chapter 45, huh? Here's a good one. I don't know how she can walk after
Call
that.
it Cleano Crew.
Wow.
Yeah.
Clean up aisle 5. Clean up aisle 5.
That's so crazy.
How do you feel about movie adaptations from books?
So, we have merch here that says the book was better. I mean, I think for the most part, a book is always going to be better because you've created that world in your head. So nothing can really compare, right? Like you've, even though they've described these characters, you've still developed them in your brain. So when they're like, this person is now going to be played by Tom Cruise, you're like, bullshit. like there's no way, and so just character alone is hard to watch a movie with. I think there are books that and so many times they're so they're just hardly even what the book is. Like they're just like loosely based off of the skeleton of the book.
Yeah.
And every once in a while there's a great version of it, or if you can kind of put aside your specific bias, you can see the art that was like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Like that, that kind of stuff, you're just like, oh fuck yeah, like I can, hell yeah. There's also books to me where their movie does a good job of like, what is the word? So there was a book that came out a couple of years ago called Killers of the Moonflower.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio. He's getting old.
Martin Scorsese, right?
Yeah. It's a great movie. Did you guys watch it?
I haven't.
I read the book and I seen the movie. Yeah.
So what did you think? Because I loved the book.
The book is so good, right? The book is so good.
And there's all this stuff about El Paso in it too, and they don't even fucking touch it in the
So
movie.
is that the movie that they were gonna film?
No, it's already out. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's
good.
not the one that they were downtown recently.
Which
No,
we
that
came
was-
out in, me and Sal. Shout out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they came out.
Well,
Sure, that's
hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hell yeah.
We were extras.
Yeah.
What were you doing? What was your motion? What were you doing? in the
We
back?
were, so they shot a scene at the Solon Park, Solano now, or whatever.
I will never call it that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sunland Park.
So
Bullshit.
the only reason I showed up was because Sal. So Sal is a vendor at the Upper Valley. And you're a bitch.
I don't know how to do it. You know.
The fuck?
I could figure it out. But...
See, if you read more Smut, you'd know how.
Yeah,
turn it.
Yeah.
You got to place it just right.
It's how you work your hand, dude.
Twist.
Wow.
Twist and pop.
The pop. I love the pop.
Okay,
Dope.
so you're at Sunland
so
Park
yeah,
Mall.
so Sal is a vendor at Upper Valley. Upper Valley Market got selected to be part of a scene. So they had to set up. So everybody sets up the way they do at the Sullen, and the whole scene was just this group of, they were like Border Patrol, right? It was like a variation of Border Patrol. They just raid the mall and they just walk by, and that's all we did. We were vendors. But it was funny because they gave us outfits. They gave us clothes.
really?
I guess we didn't look Mexican enough, and it was also supposed to be it was also supposed to be taking place like during winter, so they give us long sleeve shirts, and
That's cool.
I was wearing shorts, so they made me wear sweats. So we just stood there the whole time pretending to be vendors. And then the funny thing is there was people actually shopping, and they didn't tell the people, like they were just letting them be. So we couldn't tell if they were actually shopping or if they were fake or they were like extras, and we were just there for like 3 hours.
I feel like y'all were there longer.
Yeah, it was cool.
Were you able to actually sell too, or was
It
it just
you
acting?
made like $20 that day.
Hell yeah!
So you set
That's a
up
great
your
lunch.
shit?
Yeah, he set up
Oh,
his
that's what's
stuff.
up.
Yeah, so Sal's the one that got the invite. He told me about it. I was at work and I'm like, hey, can I leave? I'm gonna be a movie star. And then I just showed up, and
Did you see anyone famous?
no,
Is it
we just saw the director.
He's I mean,
Yeah.
PTA.
some people know
Yeah.
him. You know. Yeah.
So it was cool. It was an
Hell yeah.
experience. So I'm crossing our fingers, the scene comes out and
it's just like a full, like just your face and like.
It's just a dumb face, like
yeah.
Nah, it's just like that's what it's gonna be. I'll sleep.
But it was an experience for us. It was cool.
That's dope.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I keep meaning to ask him about it too, and I keep forgetting.
We ended up doing a bunch of other things and never talked about it.
So I'm glad we brought it up finally.
Yeah.
It was your big
You're welcome.
moment.
That was my moment. Be famous.
Did you guys get paid or anything?
He got paid. I didn't because I just tagged along.
Oh, so he made the $25. Is that what they paid you?
No. You got how much you get paid?
Where'd he
Sal?
go? Oh, he's right there.
Oh,
Damn, that's pretty good.
that's a great lunch. Yeah.
And $250 for the setup. So $130 and $250 for the setup. So yeah, pretty good.
And then plus the $20 you made.
And then plus the $20. Yeah.
$350.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So look for me in the credits. I'll be Mexican number 69.
Like there's not even 69 Mexicans. No. I want that one. That's me.
Bunch of blank numbers and then. No, but the
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the
Yeah,
Flower Moon.
yeah, yeah.
I always invert those words. It was a great book, and it's about the Osage murders, and it has a bunch of El Paso in it because they got put at La Tuna prison.
Yeah, Tom White.
Right next to Anthony.
That's in
And-
Anthony.
That's in Anthony.
And he escaped from it, didn't he? Wasn't that the prison he escaped from?
Tom White.
The La Tuna, yeah.
Wait. Wait. You're talking about the
Killers of the Flower Moon.
The dude.
Yeah, the guy.
Robert
Yeah.
De Niro's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he
What is it?
Got the title right.
What is it?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Just in case you forgot. It seemed like you forgot a little
he's
bit.
on it.
I'm listening.
It was him, in fact. Yeah, you're right.
The killer of the Flower Moon, yes.
Duh. Didn't you read the book?
And that is it's such a good book because it's nonfiction. It's a true story.
Yeah.
I thought the movie did a great job of accompanying the book
Yeah. That's a good word.
because it wasn't anywhere near what the
Author-
book was about.
David Gran.
Graham.
Oh yes,
Graham.
yes, he wrote.
This is Gran.
Graham.
It says Gran. Internet doesn't lie.
I mean,
True.
what are his other books? He wrote.
maybe it is Gran.
Sherlock.
Yeah, that's what it says. That's what it says.
And on the book, it looks like it's M.
Did he write Killer of the Monkey? City of the Monkey God.
Let's see. Lost City of Z.
That might be the one.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
The
of.
Devil is Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah, that one is a
Yeah.
good one too.
Old Man and the Gun.
Well,
That's it.
you don't need any more than that. Okay, so he's a good
It's not listed
author.
on there.
The Lost City of Z, which they also turned into a movie, was kind of the same thing where it was a good accompaniment. It because they're nonfiction books. And the movies are more like first person. They're more like a novel adaptation of a nonfiction book.
That book is so cool because it's kind of historical.
Sorry, what was the name of that book again?
Which one?
The Killers of the Flower Moon?
No, the Lost.
The Monkey God.
The Monkey.
The Monkey God.
Because I went to his
Lost-
actual page and I'm just not seeing it.
I think Douglas Preston wrote the Monkey God one, or the city, the lost city of.
The Monkey God.
Oh God.
Lost City of the Monkeys.
There's a really good one. I was
Jungle
really excited.
I read that one.
I was really excited to read it. They found this whole.
Douglas Preston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it
Nice.
called?
The Lost City of the Monkey God.
Lost
A
City
True
of the.
Story.
I was close.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You're
That's
good.
pretty good. Yeah.
Considering
yeah.
we're like 2 bottles in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another really good one, and it was weird because it takes a real left turn, and then it's just all about malaria. After that, you learn a lot about it, because have you guys ever had to take malaria vaccines?
No.
or malaria pills?
I feel like that's
don't
something
think
you
so.
do when you go like overseas.
This is definitely an ADHD side quest question.
Yeah.
You guys have never had to take it?
No.
It's fucking wild.
You go like on a trip or
What do you mean?
Yeah, you hallucinate and stuff.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sign me up.
I want it.
Yeah. I've had to take it a couple
Give me
times.
some malaria.
Yeah. I've had to take it a couple times.
got any malaria, mister?
And I mean that's what the book makes you want to take that because it's so horrible what happens to you when you get malaria.
That doesn't sound that bad.
and then I feel like it's like the drug companies put it out so
Sounds
that
like
you,
my Tuesday.
so that you would run and go get the malaria pills. But yeah, you trip on it. I hallucinated that there twice, and one of it was I hallucinated that there was a snow leopard in my hallway.
Oh shit.
Yeah, just sitting there like whapping its tail around, and I had to literally tell myself there are no snow leopards.
Were you
in
doing
El
the whole
Paso."
like pss, 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 pss?
Come here, baby. Come here, baby.
So was
I'm
it?
a white woman, so I'm obligated
Okay.
to try to get the wildlife
Yeah, it's
to befriend it.
So was it like a gentle trip, or was it like a like?
It
What the
it
fuck?
was full blown. There was no distinction from the fact that it wasn't reality. It
But
was-
like, were you having a good time, or you're like?
I had woken up to go pee in the middle of the night and just saw a fucking snow leopard. So
and
it
you're
was
like, I don't gotta pee anymore.
real wild. Yeah.
There it is.
Clean that up in the morning. Fuck it.
like the Hangover,
yeah.
fucking tiger.
Crazy night.
Don't act asleep. The next time I did, I was in I think I was in Amboseli in Kenya, and we were at this place where where a Maasai village is really close, and the bathroom. Do you guys know who the Maasai people are? They're very tall, slender tribe in Africa who wear red. They're the lion hunters. They wear those headdresses. They kill lions to as their like rite of passage, and they wear all this beaded jewelry. Their stuff is they sell all this gorgeous beaded work and stuff, and so where we were at, the bathroom had all of this beaded stuff. So when I woke up to pee in the middle of the night, all of these beads were like moving and changing places and like melting.
Oh, so you were there?
I was there.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that's when I was like, when you're in Africa, you don't want to be tripping. Like, when you're in the middle, we were in the middle of a national park in Africa. Like, this is not the place to. Like,
Holy shit!
we're like the colors.
Yeah.
Because if you see a fucking lion there, it's like that shit is probably real.
It 100% could be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least like other than the monkeys like to fuck with you. And so like, how do you know that's like not a monkey
Yeah.
purposely fucking with you?
Yeah.
Because they're little bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you go to Africa? Just
Been to Africa a couple times. It's
Yeah?
a gorgeous continent. It's a gorgeous continent. It's I've mainly been to Kenya. I've been to Kenya, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and South Africa.
nice
What do you do there?
Mostly safari
and hallucinate.
and hallucinate.
Apparently,
Trip ball.
I love it.
Sound like a good time.
Is there really the only reason I go? Malaria?
Who doesn't want malaria?
Safari. Holy shit. That sounds badass.
Yeah.
Is it as badass as it sounds?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, 1,000 times over. And now that I've been to several different countries, I will say Kenya every single time. Go to Kenya. Kenya,
They're fast.
they're
Can you?
Dude, they're fucking always running.
they sure
running
are.
races and shit, dude.
They sure are. Because they have to run from lions. Don't make me say it.
Oh, shit.
Don't make me say it.
They have to run from lions. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
And so this is technically book related. One of my favorite books and inspirations to wanting to go is a book called Out of Africa by Isaac Denson. Have you read that one?
Hold on. I want to ask you about Kenya. So, do you know where the giant migration of that. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah.
antelope and like giraffe and zebras and all that shit. That giant migration.
It's water buffalo and zebra. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Water buffalo. Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah. I was in the middle of it. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
way.
It was amazing. So many flies. That was the thing I was not expecting.
They migrate too, I guess.
Yeah, they're right there with him the whole time. You're just like, "God, do that."
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And we went in May, I think. It's during the Great Wildebeest Migration. It was amazing.
Wow.
All of that shit is just like those moments where you're just in awe of the earth, of like life, of you feel
Nature.
so
Yeah.
small.
So if
you
you
know.
like those of you who don't know, there's a giant yearly migration of water buffalo, and then like they're kind of like accompanied by giraffes and zebras and shit like that. But it's mostly water buffalo. It's like a fucking million animals
Yeah.
that just traverse this fucking massive amount of, like it's bigger than
Are
Texas.
they going south first? I know, because then they go down, and then they end up, like, once that season over, they just head up back up
Yeah,
the same way.
They just go in like a circle.
Yeah.
Like they go up and they go down, up and down. And
Oh,
it's like,
that's dumb.
It's actually kind of fucking cool, dude.
well,
I
it's 'cause
saw
they're
the
following-
little
You
IMAX
gotta do
shit
what you gotta do to survive.
in
Yeah.
Alamogordo,
Okay.
you know?
they're following like the rain. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
okay.
grass.
Yeah.
I thought they're just like, let's take a road trip.
Nah,
road
they're
trip around Africa.
They're like,
Who's
I'm
down?
bored. Let's go.
Let's go visit my favorite rock. It's still here, guys. All right, let's go back.
I brought some malaria. Who wants some?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
100%. 100%. That's what they bring.
It's a real lion. Run.
They trampled poor Mufasa.
They did.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
But yeah, it's like a fucking million animals that just go up and down. It's like supposed to be like amazing to witness.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It's dope.
It's just the vastness and the majesty and all of that out there is just, it's wild. It's wild to see that many and they're large animals. That many. I forgot he was here and he just moved.
She's like, I'm tripping. I'm tripping. The malaria's back.
Actually, not taking that malaria before you guys got here.
He just pops out from behind.
Oh my goodness. That's funny because
Fabio.
he's here.
Man, what's in this wine? Jesus.
For real.
Christ.
Good stuff.
Wine will fuck you
Good
up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to stop drinking beer.
New Mexico's corrupted governments in
Yeah.
it, dude.
They probably put like a little meth in there just to keep us all.
There you go.
Something.
I need more St. Clair's.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
All right. So earlier, way earlier, we touched up on the social media, and we were talking about this before that. So what is that like for you? Because when I think about books and now like the internet is kind of like opposite of like a spectrum.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the books is very physical media, and then you have the internet where it's all digital now. It's a snow leopard. But what has that been like for you? You know, growing your page on Instagram, and what other do you do TikTok as well, or what do you do?
Yeah, I put the same stuff up on TikTok that I do on Instagram. I have come to it kicking and screaming. Because it is not my wheelhouse. It's not. I'm a book person. You know, I'm not a big social media person in my spare time, and so having to do it well, do it for your livelihood, doesn't make it feel as fun when you have to. But you have to do it. I mean, we talked about it earlier. You either have to hire a social media manager or company, or you have to do it yourself, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
And when I started being a lot more serious about it, we grew like double, triple. We grew just by putting me out there, which sucks. No, it's just, oh God, like having to put yourself out there like that.
Yeah.
And like, again, imposter syndrome. Like you worry about that. You worry about what people are going to say about you. Nobody cares. But you like worry about all of that. And you want to make it, you want to do a good job.
Yeah.
And like how do you do a good job when you don't know how to do it at all? And you hope that people get your humor when you put things out, and it's just not going to be some kind of dud that they don't understand. So that's been a journey for me, trying to up my game for it, trying to be, editing's a whole process, trying to put more content out there, trying to get it more scheduled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's definitely been a journey. And I had a friend once who really helped put it into perspective for me, who said, she was like, don't think of it as the fact that you have to do this. Think of it as like you get to do this really fun, creative thing as part of your job, as part of your everyday. And she was like, you used to act, fucking act, just act, like stop being a whiny bitch and just act, So that really helped. And so now I try to think of it more as a fun, creative thing I get to do and express versus something that I am forced to do. Again, I have ADHD. I don't like being put in those, but it really has helped. I mean, it's crazy the reach we had. Oh my God. I put out, it was book day. And I was like, it's towards the end of we were going to close soon. I was like, oh fuck, it's book day. It's like National Book Day. I have to put something out. And I literally like found a sound that I liked and put this thing together in like less than 8 minutes, probably. This whole, like from start to like, from the first time that I pressed record to the last time I pressed record, and then put it out there, did a quick edit, put it out there, probably 20 minutes all told. It got 350,000 views.
Jesus Christ.
350. I can't even comprehend that. And like, and that sucks because that was nowhere near my best work. It was just something I threw out there.
Yeah.
And then it caught on like wildfire. And I just kept seeing the numbers rise. And it was like, oh no.
Wait, stop watching.
If I knew this many people are going to watch it, I would have done a better job.
Right.
I did another one where I was very emotional.
So do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it says like, it's like this, it goes like, you know that Lizzo song that's like, I like da 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 da, and
Nope.
instead it goes
Wrong
I
audience.
like, and then somebody cuts it off and just goes, books. I like books. That's it. That is literally it.
That sounds like you, dude.
Yeah.
I like books.
Yeah.
Books. I like books.
Yeah.
I like books.
Yeah. And so many people saw it and it was like, Jesus Christ. And then for one morning I was here and I had heard about the Ruidoso fires and I got really emotional about it. And it really looked like the whole town was about to go under. And
Yeah, that was pretty rough.
and I was just thought about all of the animals, and I just got very emotional about it. And I was like,
The animals.
oh my God, like just the wildlife that was about to be burnt up, and then humans were, and it was horrible. But I was like, how the fuck can I help? So I threw together like a really quick reel where I just explained the situation. And I had found out that there was 2 drop-off centers, and I talked about the drop-off centers for donations. And then I started getting emotional at the end, so I just cut it off. And I thought, like, our views, we get anything from like 1,000 to 10,000 views. And
Must be nice.
Dang.
Well, I could be even better and be like, we get anywhere from 1,000 to 350,000.
I'm like, we get 300 a week.
Well, and that's another thing, when you put your heart and soul into something, when you spend hours editing and filming, and then like 4 people see it,
Yeah, one like,
you're just like, yeah,
and it was me.
yeah, right. Or it's a bot fucking is like, check your DMs for this. You know, like, you're like, fuck, god damn it.
Thanks, bot.
Yeah. My number 1 fan. But that was another thing that I had put out there. I like stumbled on words because I was emotional, and I like, it was just not if I knew that it was going to end up having 12,000 views and like FitFam had put it up and all these people had reposted it, that like I probably would have done a better job. Like, at least like not like edited out the words that I was stumbling over.
But sometimes that's better. I've learned that in this space, people like originality.
Yeah.
People like you see through the fake shit. Like you right away, you can see like, oh, it's so fucking cringe, right? So when you're raw, when you're emotional, when you're just you, I think that's when people resonate, and that's when shit goes viral.
Oh yeah. Well, it was a very somber tone. I was clearly had been crying, and it just it resonated. But it's definitely still one of those moments where you're like, did I have to say that word so fucking stupid?
Yeah. No.
But there's been things like that and I've also put out things where I'm like, this is so funny, like fuck yeah, like I'm so excited. So like I'm actually excited to put this out and like see what people have to say about it. And then like your grandma likes it, and like it's not well received, or somehow it has like a super low view, and you're like, I thought it was clever.
Do I have to cry more? Or what's
yeah. It's just like to see me tortured. So it's and so because of that, social media feels like a crapshoot. It feels like you're rolling the dice all the time.
Yeah, it does.
That's all it is, really.
We see that with our content because we post on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and we see the difference, and it's all
you're brave
different.
with YouTube. I'm too. That feels way too real. That feels like adult stuff. Not like adult weird stuff. Like just like it just feels like that's where like the big boys go. It's like to YouTube.
It's a challenge. It really is. But I find it hard. So so YouTube calls them shorts. Instagram calls them reels. Whatever. It's all the same shit.
Yeah.
Shorts on YouTube, they don't do as good for us.
Really?
Yeah. On Instagram, great. We'll get like 1,000. It's not as good as yours.
I don't know idea.
Yeah, but we do pretty good on Instagram. Just YouTube sometimes they don't. And we're talking about it last episode. We got age restricted on one episode for some reason. So
it wasn't even like.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was
I
just.
feel like this one's definitely gonna.
Yeah, for sure.
I said tentacle porn.
But she got fucked by a tentacle, guys.
They released the Kraken
right on her ass.
And she liked it.
But it's weird. Our most successful one has been the baby coma clip.
Yeah, fucking random.
Where we talk about this guy had meningitis when he was a baby, and I made fun of him because he was in a baby coma.
I was in a coma and I was a baby, so it was like baby coma.
Baby coma, and that's been our most viral clip.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? How like you have no say over it. You have no like. It just fucking happens.
Yeah.
And like there are you can take classes and watch all this stuff about like good keywords you can use in your caption and how to use hashtags appropriately, or if hashtags even work. And some social media it does, and some it doesn't, and all it. But like in the end, it's just a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be as strategic as you possibly can, right? You can release at a good time. You can see your numbers, and you release when your numbers are high or on the days that your numbers are higher. But in the end,
Who the fuck knows?
It's like that Haktua girl.
Yeah. That was real weird.
She was just some drunk chick at the end of the night who got interviewed, and she said like one outrageous thing. Yeah,
she was being real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now she's got like a whole career out of that.
Yeah. And
Insane.
Off 2 fucking words.
Yeah.
and did you hear that the people who put that out there are complaining because they're like, oh, we put that out there. Why aren't we getting like more monetized from this? Why aren't we getting stuff? And they're like, because
It wasn't you, dog. You just asked
because
the
you ain't
question.
nasty like that, honey. Like, so I mean, that's also an interesting thing. Like if you, and that's why you collaborate too, right? So that like you can piggyback off of other people's numbers, and that's all, like that's helped us a lot. We got on De La Stories.
Yeah.
They did a thing on us.
They're popping off right now.
Yeah, big time. And they're real nice guys. And they came in, and it was a real quick thing. It was really fast, and that got like 70,000, 80,000 views or something crazy like that. And it brought us it brought us a lot. And so that's another thing, like collaboration and but you also have to make the right decision on who you collaborate with, who.
Well, we are the wrong guys. Yeah.
You're gonna lose viewers after this shit. Yeah.
Well, and then that's a whole nother thing is when you do interviews and stuff and people edit your shit.
Yeah.
And like where I was interviewed and they edited, like it was two different, I had said something, there were two different topics I was talking about and they edited it into like one sentence. I was like, yo, I mean, I know I'm dumb, but like I ain't that dumb. Like what they had like made me say, and
Like,
so,
I love murder.
yeah, absolutely. It was like my favorite thing is tentacle porn. Like it was,
That's gonna be ours.
That's for clickbait, man.
Going viral. We're gonna
hit
crack
those numbers.
We're gonna crack in that shit.
Anybody want something else?
Oh, we still got another one
I
over
think it's
here.
all you.
Damn.
Well, nah, just
And I have some
I'm
in
pretty
the
sure I'm
back.
gonna finish this. So I just wanted to make
No,
sure.
give me a little
Nobody
bit. Give me a little bit. Top me off, because that's a lot, dog. If you finish that, it.
The generosity.
Right there. Thank you.
You know, we're gonna have to start drinking more wine, boys.
For real, this is
It's
good.
lovely.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think this
It's
is good.
lovely.
I feel like this
It's
is better than beer.
For real,
Yeah.
this is
It's
lovely.
lovely. It's lovely. You have like a better like
Energy.
yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
This private, but or personal. I have much more than tentacle porn. It's very private. I have something called celiac disease, and so I can't drink beer.
Oh, because of the yeast in it, or what
because of the wheat.
Oh,
Damn,
the
I
wheat,
wish
okay.
I had that problem.
Yeah, and
You have the complete opposite. Well, you need to drink beer to function, dude.
Yeah.
so I can't have wheat, rye, or barley. So I can't have.
Well, that's
beer.
convenient because
Or-
this is way better.
Yeah, well, I mean, you definitely get used to it. And I was a beer drinker when I found out, and so I had to switch. I can still have. I'm a big whiskey person. I can still have whiskey. I can still have most hard liquors, but I can't have beer. And I was 21 when I found out. And so, like, you know, in our early 20s, some of us later in life too, like beer pong is what every party revolves around.
Yeah.
And so my friends, we used to do it where somebody would just drink my beer for me and I'd have a drink on the side. And then we started doing wine pong. And we just had like a box wine somebody brought and we're like, fuck it, let's try it. And it was such a lovely night.
It sounds like a horrible hangover, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but when you're that young.
Yeah, when you're 20, it's like, oh, I'm hungover. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go to work
no-
at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Who wants to go run?
30 minutes of sleep.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But like somebody had busted out with a violin that night. Like it was insane.
There's
like
jazz playing out of nowhere. Like, this is so great.
Everybody,
Candles.
we were high fiving each other. You
beat me.
Yeah. That was a great shot. You don't fucking do that.
You kick my ass.
Yeah. You know
Nobody
what?
saw you. She just complimented.
Yeah. You know what? That was out. You're right. That was out.
I'm sorry.
And so we all used to loved it just because our parties got so much more cordial.
nicer.
Yeah, like so
There's
nice.
candles out of nowhere. What?
the music's not even loud. It's
Yeah.
like decent, like, you know? That sounds like a good party.
That sounds so badass.
Dang.
We need to bring those back.
And then the second after you turn 30, that's that's the vibe you're going for, anyways, right?
I think that's the problem. We need this. We need more of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless this.
Yeah. No, it's all about the wine.
Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a believer now. I'm a believer in books and wine.
I'm just converting like crazy.
Yeah. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna read the Crown of Thorns.
Do it. Once you get to the last book, that one's like the most raunchy.
What was it
one.
called again?
A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
for the listeners.
Yeah.
Raleigh's
You're like,
like,
put it.
timestamp 140.
I already
again,
ordered it.
Listen to the audiobook if you don't like to read. Listen
Whoa,
to the
whoa, whoa,
audiobook.
whoa, 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 whoa. Is it a dude or is it a chick? That makes a difference.
He's like,
Are you asking me if it's the main character or if it's like homosexuality versus heterosexuality?
it's because he has issues.
Like the dude reading it, the narrator.
Who reads it?
So there's two different audiobooks of it. There's one where a female narrates it because it's in a female
what you
point of
want.
view.
Yeah. Or maybe.
And then
I
there's
don't know.
another one that is kind of acted out, and there's a narrator, and then all the voices are different, and it's very much so like listening to more like a play or something.
Okay, that's
That's,
cool.
that's what you want.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
check out both.
So you listen to audiobooks, right? You guys don't?
We don't know. I
try.
yeah.
It's a work in progress for me.
If you start, which I hope you do, to me the narrator's voice is really important.
It's key.
It's key.
Yeah.
Because I have turned on books and like within minutes turned it off. You can't do it because of the canter, of the accent sometimes, of
Accents, dude.
there's a book called Say Nothing. It's about the Irish
The Irish.
Troubles, the Irish Troubles. And it's about the IRA, right? And like in that convoluted fuckery that happened. And that it's so complicated, right? Because the Irish were involved, the British were also involved, also somehow backstabbing themselves, like it's such a mess. Boston, Massachusetts was heavily involved. Like all this stuff. But it's a really good book that really helps to summarize what happened during the IRA, during the troubles with the IRA. And it is narrated by a man with a very lovely Scottish or Irish brogue. But it's like easy enough for an American to understand. Like it's not like some crazy thick
It's
bro.
not McGregor going on.
Yeah, like a drunken, yeah. And then the fucking queen. It's not like that. And
I hope it's like that.
Yeah.
I would hear that. Yeah.
Gorilla hypes up.
Queen.
I can teach you some like Irish whiskey rebel songs. We can do it up.
Let's do it.
But that one was really cool because of his voice. It was so immersive. You really felt like you were talking to somebody or listening to somebody that had been there during that time and was explaining it to you. And it was really cool how submersive you felt in it. But I've also listened to audiobooks where they've had an accent where like like a Creole accent that I couldn't understand and I couldn't get into.
Yeah.
And I listened to a book recently called I think it's called something like everyone in my family has murdered someone. And I was like, this sounds like a dope book. And I put it on.
It's true.
Yeah. Like
It's true.
I mean, who hasn't, right? And the person was like, it was a warm day. Like the narrator.
My family killed everybody.
I do declare that
Yeah.
I murdered my auntie.
My uncle seemed a little shifty. Like, and it was so boring that I had to turn it off. And so I think with audiobooks, you have to. Brian Kilgade, who is a nonfiction writer, he's been on a lot of. Do you guys know who like Brad Meltzer? Is that his name? He's over here somewhere. They're like all the like conspiracy guys. Brad Meltzer, something like that. And I was really interested in his books because he wrote George Washington and the Six and Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates, like these really cool history nonfiction books. But when you turn on the audio, and they're not thick books, so I was like, oh, listen to the audio. It's like 6 hours. That's not long. I know you like your eyes immediately like glazed
That's
over.
I'm thinking like I'm thinking like podcasts, like imagine 6 hours of editing. Holy fuck. That's a whole month.
6 hours is like a short book.
Yeah,
You can
it's
also,
short.
like, I listen to it on like 1.5 to like move it along. So then it's more like 4. It's fine. Yeah. ADHD though. So that's like I can like keep up.
Come on.
That way. Like,
Come on, dude. Let's speed it up.
But he like, everything is a point in his audiobook. Like, and you know, like, I'm not here to get yelled at, man. Like, calm down. So when you start on your audiobook journey, which I hope you do, and I feel like your first is going to be Smut anyway, so it's probably not going to be that bad.
We're going to listen to it together.
Holding hands.
It's like, you ready, Raleigh?
I've tried some book before,
purposely get stuck in traffic just so.
Oops. Press play. Oh, what's this about?
Oh no, the car is stuck.
Sorry.
Oh no, we're trapped. Oh no.
I just ran out of gas.
In the middle of nowhere.
So definitely watch out for that. That is something.
Yeah,
Narrators'
100%.
voices are really important.
I agree. 100%.
Like Morgan Freeman, he can like read anything or in my voice cracks if you can't notice.
You watch so many movies, man.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Rolly? You said that you started something or...
Yeah, dude. I started some book, dude. I'm like halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even that long, dude, but it's been like a whole ass fucking year because I forget that it's like an audiobook. And I'm like, I'm almost towards the end, like, but I can't remember what the fuck I've like
Right.
heard.
Yeah.
But I've
You have to do that
honestly
all
been
the time.
trying, you know? And like I've been trying to read like a Christian book, I guess, that was given to me.
The
like
Bible?
It's called the Bible.
no, it's not.
I feel like you said that real soft, like you the way I said tentacle porn. You're like, it's a Christian book.
It's because I'm not like religious or anything all that much, but like this book was given to me like at a random spot on a fucking like horror like shit day I was having in work when I lived in Houston at the time. It was just like it took me forever like just to even like I glanced at it, and then months went by. I was like, I should fucking like read it. And then it's like to this day it's still on my nightstand right next to my bed where I just read like I start reading it, then I forget about it, but it's still there on my nightstand.
Yeah.
I'm like,
He's just
It's
looking
like a
at you.
comfort book.
Yeah,
it's like your buddy. You're like, hey, bro,
It's
I'll
there.
read you someday.
yeah, like it's just there, and like every day I'm like,
It's like a
damn,
girlfriend you don't like
I need
anymore.
to fucking read that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like my ex relationship.
It's like, hey.
Just kidding. But it's there. Like I want to read it, but I don't like spiritually. Like I guess it'll just come to me a little bit, little by little, you know. But
Yeah.
and it's just like, fuck, I don't even know this book. I forgot. I can't even tell you the name of it. But it's there.
I've been listening to it for a year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to
They're
do.
like it's cool because it still gave me like workouts in between it, you know. So I was like, just something to look forward to. Like that's the only reason why I started. Is like this self motivation to go to the gym and blah blah blah, and the extra help of going to go to the gym and certain type of meals to be eating.
Oh, so it's like a workout book, like a...
It's like
Yeah,
Christian
yeah.
wellness.
No, two totally different books.
Oh. I was like, I mean,
have
if
this audiobook and then
if
like
you
a
and Jesus
actual
need to pump
physical
iron
book,
together,
yeah.
I mean, it's awesome.
Reps for Jesus.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes.
What about you, Johnny? Do you
Do I read?
dabble in?
I've had this book, and I was telling you about it. It was given to me at work. It's like a leadership book. It's called Start with the Why, or Starts with the Why, or something like that, by Simon Sinek. And he did like this whole TED Talk thing, and I guess they use it a lot in the workspace because it's like a leadership book. But yeah, I'm like in chapter 2. I've watched the TED Talk, so I have a gist of it, but I'm not. I just can't focus. Maybe I do have ADHD. I don't know. Maybe audiobooks is probably the way to go for me.
Yeah. Well, I think too, it needs to be something that's going to capture your attention to keep reading. And if you find a story, essentially, right, that captures your attention that you want to keep reading, that would probably help versus something where it's kind of a self-help book that's more like telling you what to do that can easily get off track because they tell you something, they give you a life hack or a tip or whatever, and your brain wanders because you're like, oh, that's cool. How can I implement that? What can I do to make that part of my life? And so your brain naturally wanders. That's part of what you do with those kind of books. So if you wanted to start on more of a reading journey, I would start with probably a fiction book or a nonfiction book that's written more like a novel, something that's a little more exciting that can capture your attention. Because again, I don't know if you noticed, but I have ADHD, and I have yeah, right. So it's weird. It's so weird. You need something that's going to capture your attention and it's going to keep you sitting still, which is wild to sit still for hours reading something that's gonna capture you enough to do that. And that's you just have to find that book. And I think every, like I always say, every book has an owner and every story has somebody dying to listen to it. You just have to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're able to sit there on your phone for like hours at a time, then you can definitely just like sit down and read a book.
But now we have reels that are just like dopamine rushes just constantly.
And that's the thing, right? So do you think the social media is contributing to that where yeah, like you said, it's like little why sit down for hours when you can get like this like 30 seconds to a minute of a dopamine rush instead of just sitting down.
Dopamine just right in your face, because there's also nothing quite like reading something for an hour or so and then something really cool happening and you're like, oh my God, like, it's so amazing. But social media has really helped with the reading revival with like Book Talk and Bookstagram and stuff. And so that has helped. I do think that younger people will probably have a harder time reading because they grew up with this dopamine magic that's just spewing right into their orbital sockets.
iPad kids.
To me, like I saw this YouTuber and this is where it really clicked for me. Where I was like, oh shit, his name is Benjamin McAvoy. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Hardcore Literature is his YouTube thing.
I'd have to see him.
So the way he put it, and it was just like, whoa, that's where it like really clicked. It's like it's akin to like an epic, right? Like Lord of the Rings, for example. Like, would you rather watch the fucking Lord of the Rings or like a 30-second clip?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, worth that time, that amount of time where you take when you just watch all these details and you know, this massive expansive story. It's so much better than a little reel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's what reading a book is. It's better. It's just 100 times better. I mean, Stephanie is right. Like, you got to find the right book for you.
Yeah, you got to get lost in your fucking like imagination as you read.
But when you do, when it clicks, it's so much better.
Yeah, it's like watching it. It's like watching a movie in your head.
Yeah.
And you have all these like weirdly fine details that you can't put in a movie, right? Like you couldn't possibly, but like it makes the story almost, oh God, what is the word? Like you could almost touch it, not palatable.
Touchable.
Like tangible.
Tangible.
Yeah.
Touchable.
Grabbable.
I was close.
Feelings. I can feel.
Sense of touch.
Oh, and that's always a weird thing when you can find a book that literally will make you cry, like have emotion. And that's always an interesting thing when you're sitting there hallucinating, you know, looking at paper that's making you hallucinate and you're just like, so emotional. And an emotional book will hit you so much harder than an emotional movie will, because you've spent all this time with it. You've lived in this story, and it's become a part of your energy, because your literal energy, because you're absorbing it, and then the fucker makes you cry.
Yeah, like it becomes part of like who you are to a certain extent. Like it can change your life, like how you look at things, even if it's just a little bit. It's just like a little, and you read enough books, and it's like, whoa, you know, you're slowly changing who you are. It's crazy.
I've experienced that, but with video games. Are you a gamer at all? Have you ever played video games?
I have one game that I religiously play.
What do you play?
Assassin's Creed. It is
Nice.
my favorite.
It's
I
a
play
good game.
all the different kinds. I play like a couple times a week. I love it. I've not ventured outside of it because I love it so much.
That's a good one.
I stopped at the third one. I haven't played the newer ones, but For me, The Last of Us, have you seen the HBO show The Last of Us?
No.
They did a show off of it. To me, that game is one of the few games that where I felt like I cried during, like, I did cry.
That's awesome.
And it's because the story, it's a good story.
Yeah.
And everybody, like, they were diehard fans of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Which
and you're playing it, right? So you're also submerged in it.
Yeah, you are the character.
Yeah,
You're living the story. And when they decided to do a TV show, I was a little, like, skeptical about it, but they nailed it with the show. The great show also. I feel like the game is still better just because it's the same with the book,
Was that the one
right?
with Pedro Pascal?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. The show did really good. It's good. It's a good adaptation, but that was me with games. Like, I was a huge gamer growing up.
It's kind of similar. Like,
it's
similar.
very similar, yeah.
Yeah. Except, I mean, it's similar, but it's different because you're like, it's just you know, with the book.
Yeah.
It's so personal. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
A game, like, you can tell, like, oh, they want me to go here. And they want me to, you know, it's cool. It's fine. Like, you're still experiencing it, but a book is just.
Well, because with a book, your mind is creating your mind creates the faces that they're talking about. Your mind creates the house that they're in. Your mind creates the bad guy. You know, all of that is your own imagination.
Am I the bad guy? Fuck.
Dark romances, I'm telling you. I feel like it's going to be your thing.
I'm the Kraken.
Yeah, but I think that's the difference. And I think that's how books can change you. And it is because of that, because your brain, yourself, your imagination has, even though you're reading it, you've still created this world. And whether it's self-help or whatever it is, you're still creating it. And I think that's the difference.
That's awesome.
And it really depends. Oh, my bad, Johnny. Were you gonna?
I was gonna say we're at that 2 hour mark.
Okay.
So
I told you guys I'm a talker.
It's been good.
it's been really great, but I think we need to start wrapping up.
Can I tell you one story?
Yes.
Yeah, do it.
Go.
And it's
How are we
about,
on? Hang on. Are we on battery life? We're good on battery life.
We're good.
This one's
6%.
That's fine. That one's pointing at us. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That one's good.
Especially because it's
This can
All
just
right.
be a story amongst us.
No, yeah.
No, let's go.
Because it's about Anthony.
Okay.
Oh,
okay. We got it.
She's
We're
ready.
We gotta do it.
She's
So,
prepared.
We
It
gotta
was
do it.
something when I found out that you were all from Anthony. I was like,
Okay.
oh, I wonder if they know this story. I'm sure they do. And I want to talk about it. And it's one of the stories I asked my brother if I could talk about it.
Yes.
So, do you guys know? Okay, of course, you guys know about, I might say it wrong, about La Llorona,
Yes.
right? Okay, the myth, the legend. So,
She almost licked me one time.
did she?
Just kidding.
I live in fear of her. So she, my brother was a police officer in Anthony, and he had a trainee with him who was already a police officer in a previous, I think on the East Coast somewhere, and he was training in Anthony. And I was, at the time, I was working at my friend's restaurant. They had just opened a restaurant, and we were helping them out. And one of the owners was Dasso, right? Doñana County Sheriff's Department. And he came in like real fast. And he's like, Stephanie, have you talked to your brother today? And I was like, no. Does everyone just talk to their brother every day? No, I haven't talked to my brother today. And he was like, I really want to talk to him. Is he night shift? Like, I need to talk to him. And it was just one of those moments where I'm like, my brother is weird. Like, and he's like, did you hear what happened last night? I think no, I don't think I was living in Anthony at the time. He was like, did you hear what happened last night at least? And I was like, no, man, I don't know what happened last night. And he was like, I was a part of it. I have some of the audio, like the body cam audio. And I was like, what? are you talking about?
Oh shit.
and it's super rare. I don't know if any of you are in law enforcement, like families or anything, or just have friends in law enforcement. They're not readily coming to you to tell you stories. Like most just like military guys, you have to kind of pry it out of them. So for him to be like in my face about like, what do you know?
Yeah.
Was crazy. It was the first time he'd brought anything like that up. And he was really fresh on Dasso. He came from EPPD. And he tells me, he's like, okay, so I think we went after a ghost last night. And I was like, what?
Oh shit.
What? And he was like, your brother's rookie, your brother's whatever they call him. Like, he was there. He saw her. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, okay. And he tells me his side of it. And he's like, just listen. And while he was showing me his audio, the dispatcher, the 911 operator lady, sent her audio of it. And we listened to it all together. So he's listening to it the first time I'm listening to it.
Right. Yeah.
And what happened is it was this rookie, and a Texas rookie cop, right? He's not a rookie to law enforcement, but he's a rookie in Texas. And it's his first like night by himself. My brother released him. It was his first night by himself. And they get a call in from somebody calls in 911, and they claim that there is somebody walking on their roof. And in law enforcement, you get a lot of people calling in for crazy things. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, yeah, I'll get out there. And they're like, okay, it's so-and-so. He calls a lot. There's somebody on the roof. There's somebody walking around his backyard. So he pulls up, and this audio file has since been released to the public, so you can hear it for yourself.
Oh shit.
And
you're not connected to the internet.
So yeah, I can give you my Wi-Fi. So he pulls up, and you hear him like, dispatcher, blah blah blah, turning on, doing all that cop speak, and then he's like, pulled up to residence, blah blah blah, and then you hear him go, be advised that there is a woman. She's holding an infant. She's covered in blood, on pursuit. And so he goes after her, and you can hear him saying like, ma'am, drop the baby, ma'am, and then go on pursuit. So he's running after her. He's yelling, and he's saying, ma'am, all this stuff. And I think the public audio goes out after a while of him searching. But in the one we heard him frantically searching. Because if you can imagine, you pull up to a house and you see a woman covered in blood holding a child, you're going to frantically search.
I feel like
her.
at this time she's just like walking at like super fucking slow, and he's just like sprinting for his fucking life.
Yeah.
You know?
Like
yeah.
I mean, you hear
and
him.
they're just like,
She's doing like the Michael Jackson moonwalk.
Yeah. Well, and he says that she disappears. He can't see her anymore. He can't find her, and that's why he's desperately looking for her. So by that time, Dasso shows up. So when it comes to Anthony, Texas, because it is such a small community, Anthony helps out Dasso helps out Anthony.
yeah, it's
a
like
lot.
a X amount of mile each way.
Yeah, you're gonna help your buddy out, and so Dasso shows up, and he's the first on the scene for Dasso. So he gets on the scene, and my brother's rookie is like, this happened, and so now they're both frantically searching.
Wait, so your brother is the first on the scene?
No, his rookie.
My friend is on the with his rookie. I just don't know his name.
Okay.
I don't know if I should say it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, so now they're both looking, and they can't find. Now other Dasso showed up, more Anthony cops have shown up, and now firefighters, everybody's showing up. And eventually the chief shows up, and the chief is like, who the fuck started this bullshit? And they're like, who started the pursuit of a bloody woman? Like, what do you mean, who the fuck started this? He's like, I did, sir. And he goes, get over here. And then he calls over my buddy too, and he's like, you get over here too. And he proceeds to tell them, you are going to see La Llorona. This is part of the job. You will see her. People will call her in, and you yourself will see her. She's not fucking real. If you need to look for her, if you need to go and investigate, you investigate every time, but don't go calling in this bullshit.
Oh shit.
And yells at him for calling in La Llorona. Fucking wild. And so my buddy's telling me, he's like, I need to talk to your brother because I need to know how fucking often I'm about to see a goddamn ghost on shift.
Damn.
Because his beat was the Rio. It was like the whole Rio to Las Cruces.
Yeah.
And so he's like, if this is my life for the next, I need to know telltale signs about what is real and what could be a woman just out there someday. And so he's like, I need to talk to every senior, every person that's been on the beat for any amount of time. I need to fucking figure this out. So that's why he was panicking, because he was like, how often will this happen? And are there others? Are there more than La Llorona that you'll see?
Well, there's stories. We had our buddies going towards what's that called? The one with Louie and Rick.
Oh, Summons.
Oh, that's Stallman.
Yeah, Stallman's. Yeah,
That's different though.
It might. Who knows?
What happened at Stallman?
they've seen things, and it's like a known thing where they see something there.
Is it witches? And somebody told me when I was little there was witches.
I've heard of witches
or like
too,
like there's supposed to be orbs or something.
I've heard witches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
What are they doing out there?
My sister saw a witch. She thinks it's a witch. Like it was a random person out there hooded. She's a cyclist. She likes to do that shit. And they're out there like at 5-6 in the morning, right? Sun's barely rising. And it's like 6 of them biking. And then they look to the right, and then they just see like this hooded woman just like waving her fucking hand around. And then she's just like, what the fuck? Like all of them are just like, what the fuck is going on? And
They're pedaling fast.
yeah, and they just keep going, and then eventually they stop and ask, like, what the fuck was that? And then one of them is like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I didn't see shit. Like, there's nothing there. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but there's always that one friend that's just oblivious to everything.
Yeah.
You know? Like, there's always that one person.
Like,
yeah.
like, look this way. Oh.
That would be me, man. Sometimes I'll know shit, but then I'll be like, I'll go far off right, dude. Who knows? It's a hit or miss.
You never know. Yeah. So I mean, there's stuff. I think
something.
that's so interesting, and the fact that law enforcement knows about it. It is a well-known thing that happens, that they are told to investigate, but don't fucking bother us with it, and that told him to get over it because he was really upset he couldn't find this woman, as one would be. Mm-hmm. And he was like, get fucking over it. Like, grow up. Oh, that's what he told him. He told him to grow up.
It's just a La Llorona, dog.
You're there with your fucking flashlight looking on the roof. Oh, you see her? Oh, cool. No, man, there's nothing here. Sorry.
Nah, it's just a ghost. It's fine.
Maybe it's something.
It's fine.
Just give her your kids.
Let's get her as a guest, dog.
Yeah. And years later, I was telling this story, and this guy was like, "Oh shit, I was on that scene." He was a firefighter at Upper Valley. Firefighter. Shit. And he was like, I was on that scene. And he was like, oh shit, that was your brother's Rookie? And I was like, yeah, that was him. And he was like, oh yeah, no, he was fucked up from that. And like, he was like, we made fun of him a lot. And I was like, so how many times have you seen La Llorona? He was like, a couple. It's out there. It's fine. It's no big deal.
Wow.
It's crazy because that's like, that myth of her is just like, for so long, and to actually like, hear that it's like, oh, it's here within like the Rio Grande in this area.
Yeah.
Like you'd think it was just like further like south.
Mexico somewhere.
Like, Mexico, but like here in this area was like uncommon.
She came to the U.S. searching for the American dream, dude.
But
and her kids.
She's the woman in white, and that is a myth that happens on a lot of different rivers throughout the country. Ours is just, she's named, but this like myth happens, and so has fascinated me ever since, is how much of our resources, law enforcement wise, our taxpayer money goes to chasing ghosts, goes to people on pursuit. And so that is now, if you guys want to do this, it's weird. They will think you're weird, but it's fun. ask your law enforcement friends, your military friends, anybody about if they've ever seen something weird. You don't even have to say anything particular. Just be like, have you ever seen anything weird on duty?
Booby.
And
Well, we gotta ask.
We gotta ask Booby.
yeah, there's never been somebody that has not had something weird. And I'm talking like federal, like I've a border patrol friend who saw some like crazy shit. I've had sheriff's deputies, cops, they all have seen something. You got to bring it out of them, you know, because they don't like to talk about their stuff in general, but they've all seen something, and it fascinates me about how much we put towards that. I just think that's like wild. And the fact that like it's a well-known thing, especially in smaller towns, like because those guys go over every single inch of a town.
Yeah.
And especially if they're rural, and then just fucking La Llorona shows up.
I feel, and you said that cop was from like newly from the East Coast.
He was East Coast, so he didn't know
That's
who
totally
she was.
different. Yeah.
He had never heard about her before, and I just feel like honestly, even if you had never heard about her before, and you saw a woman covered in blood, dressed in white, holding a baby, you would still act the same way.
Yeah.
Straight up, yeah.
And not expect somebody to tell you to grow the fuck up.
Okay, sorry.
But
it's
a
just
random thing,
a
like from
ghost?
the East Coast
Sorry.
and just comes from like random ass like West Texas, Southern New Mexico town.
And sees a fucking ghost on his first day.
Yeah.
Fuck this, I'm out of here. Shit.
This whole
back
place
to the
is
East Coast.
haunted. Yeah.
I'm going back.
So that's like my favorite Anthony story to
That's
tell.
dope.
That's
Is
pretty cool.
law enforcement and La Llorona.
We need to look into that.
Yeah,
We need to
yeah. I
ask
think
around.
I'm pretty sure I've heard the actual audio.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've heard it.
Yeah, they released it. It was
Yeah.
not supposed to be released, but it was released.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has your brother seen anything?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. He said he hasn't seen La Llorona, but he's seen other things.
Weird things.
Yeah. In the like the orchards. Like that same
Sound
thing.
like zombies.
Mhm.
Yeah. He said that he saw
You said he was Texas PD. I was
Yeah.
like, we wouldn't go that far.
well they
I forgot, I'm like chilling, dude.
well, you know, they still patrol because since the New Mexico side, at least at that time, I don't know if they do
was
now, but at
smaller.
that time
Yeah,
they don't have law enforcement,
Yeah,
so
Anthony,
they
New
would
Mexico,
still
it was still DA, you know. So.
yeah. So that they could, you know, they if you're a good cop, you know, you care about the area, so you're gonna
Go a
go
little
outside,
extra.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
And he had seen a kid had hung himself, and he got him down, and it was a whole thing. And he said for months after, when he drove by, he could see him still. And I asked him, I was like, do you think that was PTSD, or what do you think that was? And he was like, PTSD is real. He was like, that's definitely a thing. He was like, I don't think that was PTSD. I was like, oh man,
Holy shit.
yeah.
That's wild.
So there's still, you know, so that stuff like you know, they'll see lights in the sky all the time. So that kind of stuff is just super fascinating.
It is badass.
Like,
It is fascinating. So have you seen it? You mentioned that you wanted to talk about aliens, so I'm assuming.
I'm not necessarily an alien person, but I was like, I am super down to get weird, like, which I think talking about tentacle porn might have.
Yeah. I think we covered the weird.
I think we covered on.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything?
An
or?
alien? No.
Yeah.
I've seen. There's definitely. I feel like a lot of people have seen like weird lights in the sky and been like, "Is that Elon Musk or is that you know?"
Is that SpaceX?
It's weird. I'm a big cross country through hiker, so I've done hundreds of miles, very deep in the wilderness.
Cool.
And seen some things where you're like out here. In fact, last weekend or the weekend before, I was camping in the Gila, and I was camping with my friend and her girls, and we were right about to fall asleep, and we hear this noise that was like, oh, that's weird that there's a plane at 10 o'clock in a lightning storm so low to the ground.
No shit.
It was this really low, and her and I are like, hey, do you hear that? Like, it was one of those. She's like, yeah. Like,
What the fuck was it?
what do you think that is? And it was still going. And I was like, that's not a truck. She's like, no. She's like, it's a plane. I was like, yeah, but what about the lightning? She's like, oh, fuck. And it went on for minutes.
Wow.
The sound of an engine.
Was it like the
For
Jetsons?
minutes. No, it sounded like a low-flying plane. Like, I mean, that honestly sounded, but there was a huge lightning storm that was happening at the same time. And I even joked around. I was like, maybe it was the world's longest thunder.
Yeah.
You know, when you try to explain everything away, you're like, maybe it could be.
We happened to be the only ones here.
Yeah, like who knows? So I think that was definitely, I don't know. I mean, I can't say that was. I mean, it could have been a plane.
Take a peep outside.
Oh hell no! Because I like what if it was fucking flying saucer? I don't
You wouldn't want to see one?
No.
Oh, I would love to see one.
Because what do?
You don't believe in them.
You just stand there.
Well, that's why I want to see one, dog.
You just stand there and wait for it to take you. Like, what do you do when you see it?
Probe
You
me.
real, dog?
Probe me.
Yeah, we did not. It was neither of us really moved. We just sat there.
Wow. And then it just waited.
It just dissipated. It was just the weirdest thing. I still cannot tell you what the hell that was.
You're like, okay, let's go back.
Yeah. It was like, oh, finally, it's over.
Yeah.
I can go back to sleep.
Wow.
We've had interesting thing. We used to call it phantom rain all the time, where it would rain on us, but there would not be a cloud in the sky, and it only happened when we were backpacking. But it would rain on us all the time, and there was a lot of jokes about like weird things peeing on us from afar. But because you gotta make it funny, you know.
Yeah.
But
Right, guys?
but there's been
No,
like
R.
things
Kelly,
like
is that you?
Now, what I have heard when it comes to aliens is I've had friends that have worked at Holloman
Oh, I believe that.
in Alamogordo, and they've seen some weird shit. And they've seen stuff like on base, like not even just in the sky, but on base. And I think that is interesting.
Definitely.
I'm telling you, ask your friends about it. Be like, dude.
They're hiding some shit out
Yeah.
there.
You think what do you mean?
Like, I had a friend who he was patrolling, and he had like a hangar door suddenly slam, and they heard something walking on the roof, but they were in these big old hangars, like nothing could have done that, and on a highly secure military base. They were also, you know,
I don't know, man. Those illegal Mexicans, bro. Like I've seen them climb that fence, like
get
nothing.
anywhere.
You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn.
they got to do what they got to do. Yeah, they've seen stuff in the desert, like ventilation, semi docks, like in arroyos. Like, why would there be a dock for a semi here? And it's in an arroyo.
Yeah.
And the semi dock is going into a sand dune. Air vents in the middle of like, there's definitely an underground like city or something going on in Holloman. There has to be, but when you work there and nobody tells you that, and you come across
Just like
an air vent,
See, I told you guys.
you like walk away. And like, you know, you guys are around here, so I've always heard that like the aliens were not at Roswell, they're at Holloman. Like, I was always told that growing up, that they were not at Roswell, that they brought them to Holloman. Or they're not at Area 51.
Yeah.
They're at Holloman because they were the closest to Roswell.
Yeah,
So-
that's a theory.
I've never heard that, but that kind of makes sense.
I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense. And it's a really, I've never had reason to go onto that base. I don't know how highly secure it is, but you hear it's very secure facility. So it would make sense that if something, and the government also did come out and say like, hey guys, aliens are real, and everybody just,
That's within like
Ignored
the last
it.
2 years
Crazy.
or something, no?
everybody
yeah.
was like, you know what, we have a lot going on.
So, it's COVID. Come
Yeah,
on, guys.
like,
Nobody
come on.
cared. Dude.
Relax.
We can't deal with this and our crippling economy. Right
Yeah. Aliens? Okay, fine. Third, we'll put it number 3.
Yeah.
Most important.
And you know, there was like the Cabin in the World's like, who called like nobody giving a fuck about aliens? Like that is so crazy because we've always been told like the government will never tell you about aliens because they don't want you to, because everyone will freak the fuck out and our economy will collapse. And then they did, and everyone was
And
like,
they're like, now's the time, guys.
yeah. They're so jaded.
Like, just watch.
They're busy on TikTok. Do it now.
Just fucking do it. New York Times, get in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's so wild that like that happened and nobody batted an eye.
It's like, I knew it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were like false, like it's fake news, or a lot of people are like, yeah,
It's AI.
aliens are true, but they did it specifically because they're trying to make it so we're not looking over here at this time. And you're like, all right, I can do like one conspiracy at a time, man. You can't like conspiracy on like I can't conspiracy sandwich aliens. Like
For real.
like,
It's not real.
yeah, it's not. No, it's real. It's a cover up. I'm like, oh my god,
Cover up the real aliens.
that are already in our government. I think it's all of that shit is so wild.
Yeah. You could definitely go fucking hours, like just deep into a rabbit hole.
Of aliens and conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
You see those videos of like the military drones, and they're like, but what is this? What is this weird floaty thing? And I mean, it's AI. Or like it's so hard to believe half of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I do believe aliens exist. I think it's stupid to think that we're the only things like in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't think they built the pyramids, you know, and
Nah, that was all slaves.
stuff.
It was all slavery.
yeah, and that's what it's also like always been so.
Put like 10 Mexicans in the desert, they got that shit.
Yeah, well,
With the 30 pack, and you're good to go. You know?
Have you heard that joke where they're like nobody why does nobody question like the Mexican pyramids?
Yeah.
They only question like the Egyptian ones.
That's true.
Yeah. Now they did it. They for
Yeah,
sure
they're
they
like,
did.
oh yeah, for sure they did it. Like the Jews, however, I don't know if they so it must have been aliens. Like I think that is so weird that's like the conclusion they came to.
Mexicans, yeah. These guys are
They're a different
They
They
breed.
seem a little scrawny. Like I just
Hey, with the scrawny ones are the ones that surprise you. Fucking carrying like 6 bags of fucking concrete up on the shoulder and shit.
exactly.
Oh, shit.
So I don't think they helped us build civilization, but I think like they might have poked around a little bit here and there in our atmosphere. I don't know.
And people's anuses.
And yeah, they're probing.
They're
There's
probing.
some books about that I could.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. You want to just point them out? Snatch one right before
Sure,
you
the whole section's on it.
And they have like the most random names too. It's like Venus Trap. Like, what is this?
Yeah, some of the names on these books you would never know. And then the new popular thing is if you see their like cartooned covers, like they
Like
look
this one.
so innocent.
Like,
yeah.
a preteen could read this and
Yeah.
like, be seen reading this. Like,
Blah,
oh,
blah,
she's
blah,
just
blah,
reading a book. Yeah.
and then be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know a member of a man could get that large. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so wild. And it's just so crazy that there's so many genres of it. And then oh gosh, it's fun. It's helped revive like the book economy. And it's there's a lot of merch and inside jokes about it, and there's a lot like it's so
It's fun.
Smut
It's
is
like
helping the economy.
Good old Smut. Damn, making America great again.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
No,
but
yeah.
We're at almost 2.5 now.
I told you I'm loquacious.
No, this was fun.
It's
This
not
was
even
really
you.
good.
It's just
We didn't even finish her story. Like
I know.
we'll talk about that another time.
We're definitely
We'll
gonna
have a
to
part
do this
2.
again. Yeah, part 2 with Steph. So, Steph, before we head out, let us know where you're at right now, your location, upcoming events, stuff like that. Anything you want to plug?
So we are the Cactus Flower Bookery. We're at 5024 Donovan, Suite 9 at the Placida Santa Fe. And we have our murder club coming up. We have Read Between the Wines. And then we also have a creative writing class in the works. We have author signings that are coming up. And we have a painting class coming up which you guys need to read Akhtar because it's going to be an Akhtar painting. You guys are going to know
Sip
like
and
what's
paint?
up. Yeah. Maybe we'll audiobook it and just like get everybody like kerfluffled while they paint.
Okay.
So we do painting classes. We're also going to have all of these like paper flowers. We're going to have some classes on how to make the book paper flowers.
Nice.
Oh, they are
And
everywhere.
Yeah. I just people that are way more crafty than me do them. They're amazing.
Really?
Yeah, and
Cool.
so yeah, we have quite a few things in the work, and if you follow us on social media, on Instagram, I just found out our website is down, but we'll get that back on, and it'll have our.
I was gonna say I clicked on it the other day and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I have no idea how long it's been down. It was brought to my attention recently, and I was like, oh no,
Oh shit.
I don't know why. So that's my project for tomorrow. So hopefully that'll be put back up. So yeah,
All right.
follow us on our socials.
Thank you so much. This was a great episode. I had a blast. I love wine. I love books now.
Oh yeah.
Yay!
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Mission complete.
Yeah. Big shout out to Sal behind the scenes,
Sal,
helping
thank
us
you,
out.
Sal.
Appreciate it.
Jim Bros, any last words?
Nah.
Visit this bookshop.
Yeah.
When y'all get a
covered
chance.
a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Donate books.
donate books. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna donate my diary.
Oh, I will read it.
Yes.
He did what?
Cover to cover. Annotate it. Have notes on the side.
An abortion at age 9?
You thought the cracking was bad. All right, A-Town. We're out of here. I don't know which camera's still rolling.
I don't know. I'm pressing a button.
All right. Love you guys.